Wake up. It's time for Primal Scream.
Ready to go?
Born ready.
Let's do this.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Primal Scream. I'm Matt.
I am Todd.
And tonight, I'm not going to lead in with a song.
Yeah, you usually do like a little sing-along
I usually
thing.
do a little sing-song.
Well, that's horrible. So
singing
I'm
song.
so glad you just stopped doing
So we're not going to do that, but what we do have is Eric George with us tonight, the Assistant General Manager of the Titans.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
We're doing really good.
I'm stoked. I mean, I got your card from somebody. Mm-hmm. And again, this is one of those things is, I guess I'm kind of an outgoing person, but for me to get a card and go, oh, shit, I'll just email him, see what he says.
Sure.
You know, and I thought, well, what the hell? We'll give it a shot. It's happened more often than not. Somebody's like, oh, I'd be happy to. So, I mean, thank you very much for taking the time out. We were just chatting that right now is his ramp-up time. They're, like, busy as all get out. And he's taking a little time with us, so it's awesome.
Well, I really appreciate it. You know what else I really appreciate? It Works. Independent distributor Kathy Sculla. If you haven't tried It Works, give it a shot. Go to kathysculla.myitworks.com, and if you're looking at this on YouTube, you can see the link right there. It's beautiful. It's nice. They revamped their website a little bit. They got some really...
Is the girl with the nice boobs still in there?
Well, I don't... You know what? I don't know.
I hope so.
But there's some really attractive young ladies with some belly wraps. And they have this new exfoliating peel, which I haven't tried yet. I doubt that I will. But they have greens and things that guys would use too.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and if your lady wants to try it, it tightens stones and firms. Look it up, check it out. Go to kathysculla.myitworks.com. And another thing that we love a lot, which is Ecolips.
Eric, you're welcome to try one of those.
Absolutely.
Matt, your card's right underneath the bowl. Yep.
Okay.
So my favorite,
choose from?
The hemp is really, really
Is
good.
it?
Yeah, but I mean, there's not many that aren't too
All
shabby.
natural, organic.
Yep.
Locally owned business by Entrepreneur of the Year, Steve Shriver.
Are you married?
I am married, yes.
There you go. There's for the ladies.
I will not ask any questions about inappropriate relationships with cheerleaders then.
That's good because the dolls are pretty hot. The one thing I emailed my brother this morning and said, "Hey, if you have any good questions, you played college football. We're looking at the NFL. Fill me in because I'm a bystander." And he had some great questions, which I'll go through. Then towards the end, it said, "Are the Titan dolls going to do a calendar? If so, who will be October, which is his birthday? Kaylee or Sarah T? Please let me know as soon as possible." So, of course, then I had to look and see who Sarah T was and Kaylee. But what's funny, I was on there, and the other Sarah, S-A-R-A, just won a fitness competition in Cedar Rapids on Saturday.
Oh, she was at the
with Rocky.
With Rocky,
one of our friends did the fitness model side of it.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I know her. So I saw her on stage. Sorry.
Yeah, you saw her.
You know.
Right.
Really not know. But you know what Sarah might really like? You know what they might really dig? Is some of these great Ecolips because they have chick ones. Is that appropriate?
That's really sexist, but that's okay.
I'm sexist. But they have guy stuff and they have women stuff. It's all great. And there's infinite possibilities. You can make your own. You can customize it. You want a certain scent? You want a certain
Cedar Rapids
feel?
Titan lip balm.
You can have Cedar Rapids Titan. You can put your own label on it. It's great.
Believe it or not, we have done that.
Sweet.
We actually have. We did it about 2 years ago through them.
Really?
The chapstick had its own little Titan wrap on there, and it was really nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we gave out a ton of those things.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. They do a lot for people around here.
Yeah.
Every 5K, every little thing that happens, if there's a little bag full of goodies, there's an Ecolips at the bottom. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so check out my Ecolips or go to ecolips.com. I like it a lot. Something else. Great job tonight, Todd. You got a little of the Sweet Raw Joy, desserts to live for. And
we will be having Lori.
Still?
No, there should be good.
They're good to go?
Yep. We'll be having Lori from Sweet Raw Joy. She'll be on the podcast next Wednesday.
Now, I want you to sample one of each.
One of each.
Chocolate, raspberry, truffle, And that one is the key lime pie.
It's a mini lemon. Is it the mini lemon cheesecake?
Oh, man.
Is that rich or what?
It is, but it's delicious. Holy cow. That's amazing.
Now, here's the kicker. The kick in the pants. It makes it all super great. All organic, all natural, nothing baked.
Nothing baked in that.
Nothing was baked. So you want to take care of your tummy, your GI tract.
Nice. I'll know where to go.
Good flora. Sweet Raw Joy.
I'm going to wait, so you go right ahead.
All right.
Those are really good.
And those, you can get these at all of the local
Hy-Vees.
Hy-Vees.
Yep, I got those at the Oakland Hy-Vee.
Or you can go to their website, sweetrawjoy.com, and you can order it there, and they'll ship it to you.
And before they were doing shipping in Cedar Rapids, I ordered some things, and the shipping was $40 because they do dry ice shipping. And I had a meeting with her, and she said they just changed it so that they'll actually help deliver it to you if you want it.
Right.
They'll deliver it to you, so you don't have to pay all that shipping. So
Nice.
Well, if you're local.
if you're local,
Don't put in an order if you're in San Francisco and expect them to deliver it to you. We are not advertising.
delivering locally. Sorry. Thank you for catching me.
Yeah.
You can have the peanut one.
That.
Oh, good reach.
No, my mouth is full.
Yep. Got to wash it down. Need some water?
Oh, I got a beer.
That's
Matt
even
had
better.
a long day.
Right.
Oh, did you got? Let me see your wallet. I need a popper.
Oh, well, it's in my car.
You son of a nutcracker.
Well, I give you bottle openers all the time specifically for this reason. And so why they're not here is beyond me.
Okay, here's the deal. We're going to cut to Todd, and he's going to explain to you all of the great things. By the way, if you want some of this stuff, go to the website, sweetrawjoy.com. Here's our last thing that I want to talk about before we get into Eric George. I love saying it that way, too. Oh, this is going to be kind of the hinge point. If this is going to be a great podcast or a good podcast. Did you bring me season tickets?
Oh boy,
It's going to be a good. It's going to be a good
You
podcast.
can probably judge by that. It's going to be good,
But it's still going to be
best. Yeah.
It's still going to be a good podcast, though. And
Not to say I can't hook you up later. Yes.
you heard it. Okay, so Todd is going to explain Cards Against Humanity. If you played it or not, Todd's going to give you the lowdown, and I want you to talk about all the yummy goodness.
Okay. All right. So Cards Against Humanity. Wonderful, wonderful company. If you go online, they're an open source company. And so you can download the cards for free, print them off, and play them. And they don't charge you any money at all. So when I emailed them and said, hey, we'd love to have you. Is it okay if we use your Cards Against Humanity on our podcast? And the guy's like, they're
Sure.
open source. You can do whatever the hell you want with them. And we were like, well, that's how great is that? You know? And so we actually I spent $25, got the basic pack of white and black cards. Matt and I and our wives went through the whole pack the first night, having the most fun time ever. And then
And that was the basic pack you had out earlier?
basic,
Because that thing is huge.
No, you're right. No, the basic pack is just like a small black box.
Okay.
This is the bigger, blacker
Yeah,
box.
that
as it
was
says.
that was industrial strength size.
And it has every single deck of cards that they offer. We
Wow.
picked it
all
up.
the expansion packs, even the holiday editions.
We picked them all up, so we had
Nice.
everything. So they're open source. They're super nice. Worth your money, I think. You can download them for free, but give them some dough. I mean, come on. That's awesome that they're open source. But
Yeah, I mean, if you're on a time crunch and you don't have time to order it and you're going to have a get-together like a Halloween party.
I had a cousin that was leaving to go to Cabin, and she ordered it that night and had it delivered, next day delivery, to the cabin when she got there, and it was right waiting for her. You can
Nice.
take care of it.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. So the way you play is, and this is the true rule books, is everybody gets 2 cards, everybody gets 10 cards. That's how we're going to play, so we'll just do 2 rounds.
All right.
The person who gets to go first is the person who had their last bowel movement, who had the most recent bowel movement. Was it you?
Probably about 2:30.
2:30 this afternoon.
Yes.
He's got me. I don't got.
I have to concentrate
much.
for a second.
Too much fiber.
Was there something going on at work today where you got a chance to?
There's way too much happening at work today.
I hear you, buddy.
I think he's got it. I
right.
can't remember when I went
Okay.
last.
Drew the
So-
short straw.
Yeah, you get Eric. You get to go first. So,
right.
have you played this before?
Nope.
I'm one of the few humans who have probably not played this yet. Yes.
You'd be surprised.
I've heard
Plenty of people
yeah,
haven't played.
I've heard great things about it though.
So what you have to do is you're going to read the black card.
Just any one of them. Okay.
But what we're going to do is
Yeah.
we're going to, after you read it and we get it in our heads, we're going to pick an answer.
Okay.
It's almost like a Mad Lib.
Mad Lib.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll find an answer we think fits best with that, and then you pick whoever you think you like the most.
And it's completely up to you whether you want to go with, well, that's the cleanest version, or that's the thing that made me laugh the most.
Right.
It's totally up to you.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah, and we did have one lady say, I'm not reading this card. So I switched with her. And it was...
The card still got read.
It still got read, but it was...
Just not from her.
The U.S. dropped what on the children of Afghanistan was the card, the black card. And so it could go very bad. It didn't.
It didn't,
but it could have gone
It could have.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go ahead and read that black card.
I get by with a little help from...
All right. I got... Oh.
Can you say it one more time for me?
I get by with a little help from... blank.
I have some pretty good ones.
You know what? I got one that I know he's going to pick.
All right, close your eyes.
I got a
Eric.
bunch that might make him blush, but I know... Okay, close your eyes.
All right.
All right. They're in front of you. Go ahead.
And you have to read the full
two.
black card with each answer.
And then, with each answer.
All right.
So we get the full effect.
Full effect.
I get by with a little help from Synergistic Management Solutions. Good Lord. Next one. I get by with a little help from Whipping It Out. That wins.
Oh, see,
No doubt.
All right.
And I
No
already
doubt.
We're already.
Now-
I get the black card.
All right.
You need to turn down the gain a little bit. You need to turn down the gain a little bit. Either on all of our mics or at the top of the Zoom. Top of the Zoom. Turn it down a little bit. There you go. That's
Here.
great.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That's much better. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, no problem. That's what we got the headphones
For my splitting headache. kicked
Okay.
in.
Now see this is what it does. This is what Cards Against Humanity does. It gives us a taste of what Eric is like inside.
Right.
Okay. So I thought I would give him an easy out.
All right.
I thought I'd give him the synergistic management solutions. Anybody who's like just hardcore business management.
He's one of two management people for the entire organization, so I thought that one might get him, to be honest.
I thought for sure.
He's probably pissed off at things like that, though.
Yeah, he's probably like, I've had to say that 7 times today or
Yeah.
something really close to that. I don't want to play it in a game.
If I had a nickel for every time, I'd have one nickel.
All right, today on Maury, help! My son is blank. Today on Maury, help! My son is blank. And when you are ready, just go ahead and flip your cards over here. And Todd, I'll put a little backstop over here for you, so you don't whip them off the table. Are we ready? Everybody. In
Oh, it's good when you have too many good ones.
Yeah, everybody in their car listening to this right now is like, "Oh, what's taking so long? What's going on?"
I got 2 really good ones. I'm not
Oh.
quite sure which one to go with.
That's a good thing to have.
That's a good thing.
I love when you type in Cedar Rapids Titans. Dolls is one of the first things that comes up.
Yeah.
It is?
It is.
You know what? I didn't want to go down that road today at my full-time job
All right, go ahead.
because I didn't know exactly how long I'd be on that section of the website. Okay, today on Maury, help! My son is former President George W. Bush. Today on Maury, help! My son is Skeletor. I'm going to go with, you know what? Not a lot of people know Skeletor. I'm going to go with Skeletor.
Yes.
You knew that was mine, didn't you? Do you know
What, George W. Bush?
Yeah.
No. I thought maybe he'd be playing it safe. I did not think that he would remember Skeletor from He-Man. So
I'm 40 years old. I grew up watching that.
You and me.
Absolutely.
Where'd you grow up?
Here in town. Yeah,
What school did you graduate from?
Linmar.
I don't. You look eerily familiar, but
I'm sorry.
but we're the almost exact same age.
All
Okay,
right.
so it's Todd's turn. Now
All right.
that's your point.
This is my point.
This is your
Okay.
point. Now Todd gets to read his card.
What did the U.S. drop on the children of Afghanistan?
How in the hell? We just talked about. Are you going to get a new one?
Yes.
Okay. Listen. I got the bigger, blacker box for that reason
I know.
right there. Okay.
MTV's new reality show features 8 washed-up celebrities living with blank. MTV's new reality show features 8 washed-up celebrities living with. testicular cancer.
I got one pretty close.
It's so funny. I want to do that theme from Jeopardy, but it's wrong. You can't do it.
Those 2 used cards.
These right here?
Yeah, flip them over to the other side. We'll pick them up later.
Okay.
All right. You're good, Todd.
All right, there you go.
You're good, buddy.
Okay. All right. MTV's new reality show features 8 washed-up celebrities living with hormone injections. That's good. MTV's new reality show features 8 washed-up celebrities living with white privilege. It'll have to be white privilege.
That's the one I'd go with, too.
Fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I nail one.
I would go with that one, too.
All right. All right. Eric, you got one more to read, buddy.
All right, here we go. This one just says, it's a blank, and it says, high five, bro.
That's awesome.
All right. I got this one in the bag. All right, Eric, shut your eyes.
Oh,
Keep it legit.
Yep.
All right, you're good.
right here?
Yep.
All right. Sexual tension. High five, bro. Nice. Seen grandma naked. High five, bro. I think this one wins.
Yes. Whoa. All right. Seeing grandma naked.
You're going to win.
I might win this
You
one.
might win this one. Oh, damn it.
All right. I need a new black card because we played this one also.
Yeah, what are the chances?
Just, you got to reach like in the middle.
It's probably my problem is I keep
Okay.
reaching the middle and probably putting them back.
All right. This is a twofer. This is a twofer.
Oh, I like it
All right.
twofer.
So there's 2 blanks, and when I read it, when you give me the cards, the card that you give me and it's on top, that'll be the first blank that I read.
Okay.
The one on the bottom will be the second blank that I read. Okay.
Okay.
Just so we're all clear. When I was tripping on acid, blank turned into blank. When I was tripping on acid, blank turned into blank. Which I've never tripped on acid. That's one of those life experiences I haven't had yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right.
All right, we're good.
Hold on one.
Hold on.
Sorry.
All right, no, it's all right. When I was on acid, blank turned into blank. Are we?
All right, got him.
You're
All right, good.
You're good.
Okay, these
Right
two. Okay. Good. Todd needs to
I did.
mute that. Okay, here we go. When I was tripping on acid, boogers turned into the blood of Christ.
That's good contradiction.
That
was great.
When I was tripping on acid, the inevitable heat death of the universe turned into public ridicule.
That's deep.
That is really deep. I instantly think of somebody touting the end is near,
Yeah.
the end is near. I'm going to go with the inevitable heat death of the universe.
That's not
public
bad.
ridicule.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy. Is that it? No, you got one more.
I got
right?
one more.
You got one more.
Now, if Eric wins, we're all tied at 2.
We're all tight.
If
This
you
only
win,
happened one other
right.
time.
If you win, then that's it.
I win.
And so, to be honest, I'm going to try to pick yours. That's the way it works. I mean, that's a good card. That's the way.
So I got a Jedi mind fuck him.
Right.
Yep. Why don't you want to? What?
Almost said
What
it.
don't you want to find in your Kung Pao chicken? What don't you want to find in your Kung Pao chicken? Are you on Twitter, Eric,
Shut your
for
eyes.
the Titans?
Shut your eyes. Shut your eyes.
I am not on
Okay.
Twitter.
But you know
All right.
who is on Twitter? The Titans.
Yes, my
The
boss.
Titans
Yeah.
in general.
Yep.
They got Facebook. They got Twitter. They got
Oh, yeah.
Pinterest.
My boss is really savvy
Is
when
he?
it comes to social media. Very savvy.
If he ever wants to just come over and hang out, play some Cards Against Humanity,
He would. Oh yeah.
What don't
drink
you
beer.
want to find in your Kung Pao chicken? Use panties.
that's a good one, Eric.
What don't you want to find in your Kung Pao chicken? Crippling debt.
And here's your bill.
Use panties.
Yes.
That's him.
See?
He totally
it's-
mind fucked
that's
me.
the best one.
You said that.
you're looking
That's the best one. I would have picked that one too.
Oh,
Well, I win.
frickin' frick.
Yeah.
Frickin' frick. That's the story of your life. I win.
Don't I know it?
Good
All right.
stuff.
You lose. All right, I got some heavy-hitting questions
All right.
for you, sir.
Fire away.
Let me ask Todd first. Do you have any current events, or do we want to get right into Eric?
I say we get into it because there's so much shit happening in football general right now that I think the indoor football league is going to. I want to really talk about that because I'm really interested in it because I'm not as familiar.
All right, I want to start off something light,
Go ahead.
and then we can get into something heavier. For instance,
Yes.
what were some of the challenges that you faced when you guys were playing at the ice arena? What were like some specific things that you were like, oh, I'm so glad we're not dealing with this? Like people kicking off and the ball, wham.
That, from a football standpoint, that was by far the biggest challenge.
Most annoying thing.
It was. I mean, the crowd got a kick out of it. They found it funny. The teams and the coaches did not. It took away the ability to kick long or attempt long field goals, if you will. In one or two instances, it actually cost us a game. There was one game 2 years ago. We were playing against Green Bay. They attempted a last-second field goal to tie the game. The ball hit the ceiling, and of course, everybody is screaming, "No good, no good!" And the refs got together, and they somehow determined that the trajectory of the ball, had it kept going, would have been through the uprights. I know this sounds biased, but from my vantage point of where I was standing, the ball was hooking, and they called it good, and we went on to lose in overtime.
Because the ball can look good up until the last couple meters before it hits a field goal, and it could hook.
Right. So our coach was just beside himself. And the players were shouting and screaming, and helmets were flying. It was nasty. So that's a big reason why I'm glad we're not there anymore.
Did you ever have to worry about setup? Do you ever personally ever have to worry about the setup? I mean, there's a lot of things that happen at the ice arena other than just arena football.
To convert it from a hockey rink to a football field took 10 hours. I had nothing to do with it, thank goodness. So they would come in with a large, basically like a forklift, and they would put these giant suction cups on the front of it, take off each panel of glass from the hockey rink one at a time, because those things weigh about a quarter ton each, stack them up, haul them out, and then they would put down what they called, I think, was it just like these foam, really hard foam tiles, if you will, almost about the size of this table right here, and would fit together like a jigsaw puzzle, and then they would lay the turf on top of that and hang the goalposts from the ceiling. We're off and running.
So for laymen out there who don't know, where are the Titans playing now, and where were they playing?
We were playing at the Cedar Rapids Ice Arena, where the Rough Riders are playing right now. We're playing now in the U.S. Cider Center.
Okay.
So we're getting ready for year number 4 altogether.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And it was franchise of the year.
Yeah, we were named League Franchise of the Year. Just from an operation standpoint and a game ticket production standpoint, ticket sales. Stuff, right? Yeah, we were number 3 in the league in average attendance. Basically, we put on a great show. One of the things that my boss really hammers home to people is, it's more than just a football game. We are there we're in the entertainment business. That it's more than just a football game. When folks come to games, we have a band that plays in the concourse as people are coming in. We set up a bounce house for kids. If they get tired of watching the game and want to go do something else, that's fine. Of course, we have the dance team, which draws in a few guys here and there. It's a great time. It's very different than what people expect as far as football is concerned. It's not like when you go to a Hawkeye game, and I'm a Hawkeye fan, and you're sitting way up here in the stands, and the players are way down here. You can't get anywhere near them. These guys are right in your face, and this is in your face football. People have gotten hurt before. Players will fly over the walls into the stands, and people will get hit. So you kind of take your life in your own hands when you sit on the floor.
That's one of the more unique things about indoor football is those walls. And I mean that kind of makes me a little nervous in the sense of for players to be, I guess it's all padded. They're pretty padded, those walls. I mean, you can flip over and hit something, I guess, but you can do that when you get tackled on the sidelines of a college game.
Well, exactly. The walls, they do have some give to them,
okay.
and we put up dasher pads around them. It's not like they're just hitting a solid wall.
Right.
We put up padding, but I mean, I've seen the walls bounce and ricochet back. I can't tell you how many people I've seen fly over the wall into the crowd. I've seen people get hurt before. We had one little girl our first year. She got hit, and her head went back and hit the cement. She had to have staples in her head. Just wrong place, wrong time. Yep.
So the indoor football league. Now, of course, the big thing this last TV cycle or whatever was LA Kiss.
Yes.
Was it fourth and something? I forget the name of the show. But Kiss put their name behind an arena football league. Is that what it was about?
Yep, that's correct. And there's rumors. I don't know if this is going to come to fruition, but there was rumors that Vince Neil from Motley Crue was going to be starting a team in Las Vegas.
Oh,
so that's all I know at this point. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know when it would happen. But
is it a way for them to dip their toes into some kind of football?
Well, you know,
I mean,
Bon Jovi did that. He was the owner.
That's right.
He was the owner of the Philadelphia Soul before John or Jaworski on ESPN. Can't remember his first name.
Jaws.
Ron Jaworski. Before he bought the team.
Oh wow! I didn't. I remember him, John Bon Jovi, owning that team. Right. I didn't know that he sold it.
That brought in the female fans because he'd be down on the field, talking to the players. Of course, all the girls, oh my God, it's John Bon Jovi, and want his autograph and his picture. Whatever. So
I know what they're saying. He's awesome in concert.
Oh yeah, my wife went and saw him one time. Said it was just great. So
he's a very good musician.
Yes.
But I mean, it was just kind of I totally forgot about that. Thinking when I was watching the Kiss show, I was like, oh my God! I think that's where I first saw it. Looked like more of a spectacle than like a lot of football playing. I mean, obviously they're talented people. I don't take anything away from that. But they have like bands and flame and chicks like in cages hanging from the ceiling. It was
like a concert.
It is.
It was crazy.
They turn it into a rock show.
Does everybody do that? They're not alone in doing that, or do most arena football league people do stuff like that?
If they're smart, they'll do something kind of clever on their own. I mean, it'd be kind of foolish to copy what everybody else does.
Sure.
But yeah, most teams try to come up with some sort of gimmick or every time we hear motorcycles, that's we think of the Titans, or every time we see this, the so and so team does this.
Okay.
So
playing in the U.S. Cellular Center, is it bigger now? I don't even know what they did to the inside of that place. I'm sorry, I'm so bad. It looks beautiful from the outside.
They gutted it on the inside. They didn't completely tear it down and rebuild it. That would have cost way too much and taken longer than it did. But they ripped out all the seats, the lighting, the speakers, screens, everything, and replaced it with new seating. The sound system is amazing. Just the technology in there. The locker rooms are awesome. It's just better overall. Awesome. Yeah.
Is it any? So it's not any bigger necessarily. It's just they just replaced a lot of stuff.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on who you talk to, the capacity in there, in my mind, is about 6,200 people. Because our biggest crowd last year was 5,500 people, and there were still some seats to be had. Sure. But and that crowd was massive.
I bet.
And we're expecting bigger crowds this year too.
Well, it was 150,000 people in Cedar Rapids. I mean, 5,000 people in one spot's pretty good.
It is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, which was I guess kind of getting back to the ice arena thing too. The ice arena has luxury suites, so that created a lot of revenue from us. But at the same time, we were limited on the number of people we could get into the arena.
Sure.
So, you put 4,200 people in the ice arena, that's a sellout crowd, and it's great. You put 4,200 people in the Cell Center, and it looks kind of sparse. So, we were able to cram 1,700 more into one game, and it really looked nice. So that just means more. And
still have it be comfortable, that it's not like an Iowa game where you're just like shoulder to shoulder trying to get to a bat. It's comfortable.
Well, and it's all new. I mean, that's awfully nice. Yeah. Now, do you think that do a lot of indoor football league players? I'll jump right into the players. Mm-hmm. Not very smooth transition. Sorry. Are they aspiring to be NFL players, CFL? I mean, they're hoping to, or even to the next level up, the Arena League. I mean, are most of them looking to do that, or are someone just like journeyman, like, what, I just love what I do and I earn a living doing this? And
there's a lot of both. I mean, this is labeled as a development league The goal is to get guys to the next level. Fred Jackson, who played at Co here in town. Yeah. He's an IFL alum, and is now with the Bills. He's hurt, but he's an IFL alum. There's a couple other guys who have gone on to play NFL as well. I will tell you, I mean, the chances of some of these guys making it is not very good. I mean, you just have to be unbelievably good, of course, to be in the NFL. Now, it's not to say it can't happen. I mean, once in a while we'll get a call from an agent. I got a call one time from the Indianapolis Colts saying, "Hey, can you send me film on this guy? We want to take a look at him." So they're always looking for those diamonds in the rough. You never know. Some guys will get called up to go in for like a 2-day tryout or everything like that. That's happened quite a bit. They'll go try out for Canadian Football League teams. So it's not out of the question, but it's kind of rare.
Okay.
Well, that's what happened with Kurt Warner, right?
Kurt Warner's probably the best example.
He played for the Barnstormers.
He played for the Barnstormers.
Okay. Are you surprised that I threw that out there?
I'm glad you did some reading today. That's all I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I will confess, I've played football in high school, but I don't watch football.
Okay.
I'm not a sports fella in general, only because little Matt had to deal with Matt's father, who doesn't know how to control himself when his team
is not doing well.
Uh-huh. So it could be a wonderful Saturday morning, but for the rest of the weekend, if the Hawks didn't win,
well, I've been guilty of that too. I mean, nothing as far as like any violence or anything, but just my attitude and my mood would not be very good.
Sure.
And I would walk around the rest of the day in a pissy mood, and I'd still. But
now you have a lot more involved with whether or not a team wins or loses.
Well, to a degree.
Or are you that way with other sports?
No, football's my main sport.
That's your main thing.
That is. Yeah.
What is besides the arena?
Right.
What is the difference between? I'm going to come at this on this podcast as I have no clue. So win me over here.
Okay.
I'm the guy you got to sell on this. What is the difference between arena football and a regular football game? Is it 100 yards? Are we still doing the 100 yards thing? Is the field the same size?
Field is only 50 yards long.
Okay.
There's 8 players on the side.
Okay.
Field it's only 25. Well, depend on the exact dimensions. Typically, the average is about 25 yards wide. So we're talking, literally half the space that these teams are operating on. If you ever watch a game, if you ever pull up a video on YouTube or something, you'll see.
I did go to an ice arena game, but like you said, bam, footballs were hitting the ceilings all the time. It was super fast paced. That's
the thing about it too. Is when you're down that close. I mean, it's amazing how fast these guys are moving. And I think one of the reasons too is because we still play on AstroTurf. Mm-hmm. Nobody plays on AstroTurf anymore.
Oh, they don't?
No, I mean the colleges, the pros, nobody plays on turf anymore because it just tears you up.
It's brutal.
Oh, really?
You see those guys used to wear those big patches of almost look like tape on their forearms,
like moleskin,
because they were hitting the AstroTurf and it would just foul your skin off.
So what is it now? What instead of AstroTurf? What
they have? Usually natural grass, or they have like that.
It's called field turf. And
is that with the black rubber balls?
Little black, it's those rubber shavings.
Okay.
Yeah, it keeps you basically from getting carpet burn.
Okay.
So, but no, we play on traditional AstroTurf, and I can't tell you how many injuries I've seen because of it. It is so unforgiving. I've seen 2 guys blow out their Achilles tendon. I've seen knee injuries. I've seen dislocated elbows.
Is that because it's gripping so hard?
Yeah, it doesn't give.
Mm-hmm. It has no give to it. It's hard as a rock. Yeah.
Well, that actually is a perfect segue when you're talking about injuries. I was going to ask you. I think of something like this as like what you were saying is like a stair stepping, into the NFL or somewhere else. But what happens? Do the players all have health insurance? Do they make a good enough living to deal with the injuries that they accrue? Because, I mean, that's the big tagline right now is concussions and injuries and people blowing their knees out. Right. And if you don't have the right operation or the right care, that's it.
Yep.
You're done with your.
We carry a workman's comp. Every team is required to. So, the minute they step on the practice field or game field to the minute they step off, they're covered. Now, if they're walking down the street and something happens, sorry, we can't cover you there. But if they're doing a Titans game practice, if it's Titans related, then we do cover them. This is professional football. These guys do get paid, but I'm going to be honest, they don't get paid very much. It's mandated by the league what the salary is. So in some ways, it's kind of nice because there's no contract negotiating. Oh, yeah, well, this team's offering me this, and their team. No, you either take it or leave it. So
now, is that something that you would like to see? Like the NFL take over? Something like that?
It would get ugly very quickly. It would.
Like as far as probably player strikes, because now you've taken away the negotiating tool.
Well, yeah. It comes up almost every year at league meetings as far as, do we go to a scaled pay structure where, a veteran gets paid a little bit more than a rookie, or, you can designate like 2 franchise players, they get paid more than the other team. Ideas like that are always being kicked around, but we always end up going back to the same model.
The hope would be that if you're that good of a player, you'll move up and you'll move on. I mean, if that's what you are capable of doing, this is just kind of a stepping stone.
Well, it is, but it's funny. What I tell people is, you could be the 3-time league MVP, or you could be the backup center on the worst team in the league. You're going to get paid the same.
Okay.
So
there's something to that. I would think that would keep it a lot simpler for you guys in the front.
Well,
office.
It certainly keeps simple for payroll. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And it helps us as far as budget's concerned. We know that 21 guys are going to get paid this much every week times 14 weeks, and there you go.
And wow. I would assume that you guys have your own trainers, your own physical therapists, or do you not?
No, we do have a trainer. He's not full time, but we do have one that comes in during the season to help us. We have a chiropractor who's there if we need him. We do have those resources available to us if need be. Okay.
Yeah, because there's all these really neat. I didn't know if you guys took advantage of any of this stuff. Like Joe Rogan's podcast, he talks about that Sub-Zero treatment. Do you know what I'm talking about, Todd?
Yeah, it goes. It's negative 200 degrees, and you stand in it with your head's out of it. But you stand it for 3 minutes, and you get out, and then you let your body recover, and then you step in again for another 3 minutes, and it's supposed to.
It basically your body basically says, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
and
I would too.
Yeah, and it starts to produce anti-inflammatory stuff. So,
okay. It's like an ice bath, is what it is. It's the same premise of an ice bath,
right? But you're only in it for a couple minutes at a time. But there's NFL players using it. There's UFC fighters using it
I guess
for shoulders. I didn't know if you had.
I've never heard of that. I guess if it's safe and if it works, why not? But no, I've never heard of that before.
Do you guys have anything that you typically have on hand that you try to make sure that your players have or don't have, or when you're getting ready to go into a game or into a season, what is your mindset besides who's playing what position? What do you like to have in place to make sure that your team performs the best that they can?
To be honest with you, my involvement with the team, the players, the coaches, is very, very minimal. I don't do any scouting. I don't do any coaching. I don't do any recruiting, signing players, any of that. My main job with the Titans is bringing in the cash. My main job is selling sponsorships and tickets. My day-to-day interaction with the team is minimal. I see them maybe once or twice a week, and that's it. See, and a lot of people, and we've even had trouble with interns in the past, because they come into this organization, they think, oh man, this is going to be great. We get to run around and throw the football with the players and just have a great old time. And no, it's not even close to that. I mean, I do a lot of talks with school groups, and I ask them, I say, by show of hands, who wants to maybe get into sports one day? And of course, every hand goes up.
Sure.
And I say, well, I'm going to tell you like it is. What you see on TV, you see the glamour and the fireworks and the cheerleaders and the all the hoopla and the bands, and that's fun. It's great, but that's like 5% of your job. There's so much crap and just stuff you got to put up with on a day-to-day basis. It's not as glamorous as you may think it is. Now, I like my job. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've wanted to work in sports for a long time, but it's not what you may think it is. And I get calls from these yahoos off the street every now and then. Yeah, man, I want to come work for the Titans, man. That looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, okay.
For about a week, and then
try it for a week, and then tell me what you really think.
Do you think that's like a lot of jobs that we don't really paint an accurate picture for our youth when they get into college? They're like, I want to do this. You actually have no clue. I mean, that's only 1% of being a doctor.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, of course, all job recruiters are going to paint the best picture they can. Oh, you get all these great benefits, and look at this beautiful facility we work in, and all these perks you get, and that just sounds great. Okay, but actually start the job. Now, I'm not. I need to be careful, kind of what I'm saying.
Sure.
But as far as work ethic and things like that, because there's no such thing as a handout. If you want something, you got to earn it. But I kind of wish people would be a little more forthright as far as, now look, here's what you're expected to do, and you're going to have to put up with this, and you're going to have to put up with that. Do you think you can handle it?
Do you think that's probably the best thing about an internship? Right?
It is. And I have told every intern who, before they start, I tell them exactly like it is. I said, you're going to be in here, you're going to be stuffing envelopes, you're going to be licking stamps, you're going to be, making copies.
The job is not glorious or glamorous.
It is not glorious at all. I mean, it's not, you're going to be out there in the field, before games, throwing the ball around and talking with the cheerleaders and doing stuff that you may think you get to do. You won't be doing one bit of that. So, I mean, it's also a physical job. I mean, you got to do a lot of heavy lifting in this job too. I mean, as I was saying before, I'm half the staff, so I wear so many hats, and I do help set up the field. In that, I have to help set up the dasher boards and hang the banners and blow up the bounce house and get the balls blown up and help clean up the locker rooms after the games. I mean, it's tough.
Do you have a checklist?
I do have a checklist.
All right, because that's an absolute necessity that we just recently figured out. But I'm glad you have a checklist, because if you didn't, I was going to suggest maybe you should get a checklist.
Well, the checklist has evolved into just staying up here in my brain, because I've done it so many times now that I know what to do. But I'll never forget that first game ever. We didn't know what we were doing. We were all running around just like, what's going on? My boss was trying to keep everyone calm, and we forgot to do this and we forgot to do that. And I mean, one funny story was we forgot to order belts for the players for their pants, so they literally had to use duct tape to hold their pants up for the first game.
So welcome to the league.
Welcome to the league.
Exactly. So of course, I'm just like, oh my God, what have we gotten into? But it's gotten better over time.
When does your season actually start?
Starts in February, and it runs till June. And the way that the thinking behind that is, we want to keep the momentum going after the Super Bowl, to try to fill a void for those who still want football.
That's so great. I'm desperate.
Yeah. Well, and being that it's indoors too,
sure,
is nice. You don't have to fight the elements. I know this sounds kind of stereotypical, but you'd be surprised how many females get into this kind of football because it is indoors. Okay. They don't have to bundle the kids up and worry about, is little Johnny going to be cold, and see about his hat and gloves. And no, it's
not like a Hawkeye season where the first game you sit there and you fucking roast like a chicken, and then the last game you're in your freaking parka and you got earmuffs on and gloves, right, and hot
you go from one extreme to the other.
Oh. Well, it is Iowa, so
well, and it's more of a show entertainment,
right,
feel,
right,
environment.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm definitely going to check one out. I feel really bad that I haven't. I was telling him earlier, my neighbor is a diehard fan. I'd be, where are you guys going? Oh, we're going to see the Titans again. I was like, shit, I have not been to one of those games yet, and we have a football team in Cedar Rapids. Why we're not seeing that?
Well, and that's what we try to do when our season is approaching. We try to create a sense of urgency, because the Colonels play 70 home games, the Rough Riders play 30, we play 8. So you either get there or you miss it,
right?
And I'm not taking anything away from the Colonels and the Rough Riders. They've been around for a long time, and they've done an amazing job. But we try to say, now look, you only got 8 opportunities out of an entire year.
For sure.
So hope you can make it.
Do they? I know they have like luxury boxes at the ice arena. Do they have something like that at the So I know they don't do that, do they?
The closest thing we have at the Cell Center we have what we call party zones that are down in the end zone. So basically, you're at eye level with the players, and that's why I was saying earlier. That's why I've seen a lot of players go over the wall and will fly into these party zones and hit tables and knock beer over and popcorn.
Sweet.
You'll see popcorn flying up in the air. So yeah, we do have party zones.
I can see me being there and playing, drinking and talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I just get creamed
Because you're not paying attention to the
because I'm not
game.
paying attention.
Yeah,
I saw a woman one time who wasn't paying attention, and our quarterback a couple years ago who just had a cannon of an arm, just gunned the ball to a receiver, went right through his hands, and just clocked this lady upside the head. And of course, you hear this collective "ooh" from the crowd.
That'll learn you.
That happened at the Colonel's game this last summer.
You got to pay attention.
You have to. That's just a general rule. You have to pay attention. Yeah, it was a guy from the opposite team, from the opponents, and they were in the outfield, and there was a ball, and everybody's like, "Hey, throw me the ball! Throw me the ball!" Outfielder chucks the ball into the stands, whacked the old lady right in the forehead.
Oh,
she had to get carried out.
Oh,
yeah,
carried out.
Yeah.
So do you know what's it cost to rent a party zone?
Well, it depends on if you want food or not. They can hold 25 people each. It's $1,200 without food or $1,800 with food, and that's basically $600 worth of food and drink.
So it's all you can eat and all you can drink?
Yes.
Oh, that's glorious.
Well, up to $600. So if you want $600 worth of alcohol,
frickin' A.
It'd be great.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'm a part of a union, and we do union get-togethers. We have union parties.
I'm part of a CrossFit gym, and I'm thinking I can get 25 knuckleheads and women to come down.
Well, why do you have to say 25 knuckleheads and women? I'm sure there's some women who are knuckleheads.
I don't know.
Knucklehead.
Can a woman be a knucklehead?
What? Yeah, sure. Of course a woman can be a knucklehead. I like Eric. I think Eric needs to come back all the time and play Cards Against Humanity with us. All right, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Football and a lot of different sports have evolved with technology. I mean, you see, like in movies, like Moneyball.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? Moneyball and that movie with Trouble with the Curve.
Yes.
Have you seen that one? Right?
Yes, I have seen it.
Where they're trying to break the game down into like gigabytes and
right.
data sheets and things like that. Do you see that changing your job or how you perceive football? Has it had that huge of an impact, or is it just one of those things that's like, it's gently working its way in and it's no big?
Or does it doesn't matter? Phase? I mean, you still need 5 big, enormous men up in the front. I mean, or does it not? So does it not technical things like that?
It can get very technical. Our coach is pretty technically savvy when it comes to breaking down film. I've sat in on a couple of film sessions with him, just kind of listening out of the corner of my ear. When you see if you watch a football game and you see a play, happen, and if it's just a simple run play for 3 yards and there's a tackle, you think, oh, that's just he just hit the guy in front of him and he hit him and that was it. There's much more to it. And even at this level, a smaller field, only 8 guys on the side, what this guy is picking out and noticing on film, I never would have noticed. It's like, now look, see how this guy has his hips? See how he's turning right there? Look at his head. Look at his sight level. See how he's dropping down like that? You can expose that. You can run right by him. If he reacts this way, you cut this way. It's just, I don't know how he sees all of it.
Right, because we were saying earlier, it's so much more fast paced than regular football. So with technology, do you think that's a burden? Is it like Pandora's box where it's almost like it's better to be ignorant, or is it something that you see every little nuance, like that you were saying about the coach? Hey, if this play is happening, how many plays happen within 5 minutes?
Right.
How many plays does he have to watch? I guess it just all depends on the coach. I mean, you can obviously break down as much as you want. I mean, the NFL guys especially, they're critiquing every single. I mean, if someone's finger is flexed wrong, they'll pick that out. I guess in my mind, you can't overdo it. You can overdo anything, but at the same time, if you just keep running the same 6 plays over and over, thinking it's going to work every time, we just stick to the basics.
well, it's gonna catch up to you at some point. So, I mean, it is kind of keeping up with the Joneses a little bit, and how these guys are operating. I mean, like I mentioned, our coach is pretty good when it comes to the technology. He also has a huge database of coaches and scouts throughout the whole country. So if if we're shorthanded one game and he can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I need an offensive lineman. Who you got?" So,
oh, really?
It is nice to have that at your disposal.
It's that versatile.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the indoor game for about 17 years, and before that, he was doing other football related things. So I mean, the guy knows the game like the back of his hand. If you ever wanted a really interesting conversation about football and how he goes about scripting a game and everything, have him come in here sometime.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
Well, along with that, I guess, do you think that, I mean, is he always just been an indoor guy? Does he want to coach college football, or pro football? This is what he loves to do, and that's why he's sticking with it?
I don't think so. I think he loves the indoor game very much. I think that's where he wants to be.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to be a tough guy to hang on to. His name is Mark Stout. He lives in Connecticut full time, but the guy knows the game like no other. And my boss and I have talked. It's like, I hope we can hang on to this guy because he's been getting calls from other teams and other leagues.
Just being a veteran of the league, it sounds like he's had enough time in. Period, that he just knows more than the average person.
He does.
Or average coach, I should say. So.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that really impressed us about him compared to maybe the first coach we had was when we brought him in for an interview. He had a binder about this thick, and he laid it down and he said, "All right, day one practice, here's what we're doing. Here's what this guy's doing. Here's what this guy's doing. Day two, here's what this guy's doing. We're running this drill." And we just thought, okay, this is our guy.
Holy cow, you're not kidding.
Yeah, he had every single minute, broken down, who was doing what and when and how. We just were like, all right, dude, it's your show. Just go, run it.
How about when it comes? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and this is him, Mark Star, right here.
Yes.
Now, I have to say this. Whoever's doing your website, they need to work on it a little bit because, look, I'm going to click on it, and then I get this 404 message. So,
Yeah,
Are you just being an asshole to our guests?
no, I'm not being an asshole. I'm helping him. I'm helping him because it's cool that he's saying this stuff because I want to look up Mark Stout.
Yeah.
I want to look more into him.
We're kind of going through a website transition right now. Yeah, the company that was helping out with us before is no longer doing it, so we're kind of pseudo doing it ourselves / getting some help. So once the season comes around, it will be back up and running. I mean, even if you click on the player information, it will say information coming soon or something like that. There will be no player information. I think the dolls are still on there.
I think the dolls are on there.
Yes, yeah. But as far as the players are concerned, that's constantly changing.
Looking up on your website, I did see this that I liked. I'm going to give you a positive theory. You have camps.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yep, we have summer camps.
Wait, Titans football camps.
Yep.
I clicked on it. I thought there was. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
So you help the little kids out.
Yeah, we try to have some of the players run the camps during the off season. Those who want to stick around for a while and get paid to do some coaching. Yeah, we do about 6 or 7 of those every summer, and they're a big hit.
And each one is a week-long camp?
Yeah, it runs for 4 days. And so, it's just all sorts of, instruction. They do different scrimmages and games and drills. It's, the ones who have done it before, they actually keep coming back.
Yeah?
Because, we try to find the players, obviously, that are a little more outgoing and community oriented, if you will. So
right.
It works well.
I was going to ask you about the coach again. He did He did coach in the arena football league first,
yes.
right? And then he is doing the indoor football league.
Yeah.
Did he just get? I mean, you talked about those being multi-million-dollar kind of productions, those arena football league stuff.
Right.
Did he get tired of all the BS that was involved in that kind of thing? He wanted to break it down to a simpler game kind of thing, or?
Well, the team he was with folded.
Oh, okay.
So he was kind of stuck, and to be honest, I'm not even sure how my boss knew of this guy. He probably knew him, who knew him, from somebody who knew this guy,
sure,
and had heard about him, and we brought him in, and one thing led to another, and here he is.
Okay.
So, but no, I mean, he's one of the lifers when it comes to indoor football.
Well, it sounds kind of serendipitous for you guys then. I mean, that's great. I mean,
They
you
fell
guys are
into
relatively new and new into the league, and you get somebody who's a kind of veteran coach to help you guys get started. That's awesome.
And this guy doesn't put up with any crap. I mean, he will tell it like it is, and if someone's not performing, he doesn't sugarcoat it. It's like, you either perform or you're out. I don't have time for this. Because
he's probably got plenty of people knocking on his door and say, "I want a chance."
Well, the joke around our office is if you don't want to get stouted. Because that means you've I've been stouted a few times.
Have you been stouted?
Oh, yes, I've been stouted before.
You sent him a shitty player, or what happened?
No, there were there were 2 times during a game when one of our fans interfered with a ball that was thrown into the end zone, and one of our guys went up to try to catch it, and one of our fans tried to reach over and grab it, and the pass fell incomplete, and because I'm on the headset with Chris, my boss, during the games, who sits next to the PA guy. So Stout comes sprinting over, gets right in my face, and God damn it, tell that guy to get. Oh, he was letting me have it. He's like, you tell these fans, keep their hands back. Face was just red as a beet.
I bet.
So I'm like, Chris, can you maybe tell the fans not to do that? Oh, he was livid.
Oh, I bet.
Eric is the translator.
Right.
You're like the filter. And
yes, I was the filter.
The shit doesn't run downhill to Eric; it stops at Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he can take care of it from there.
But you don't want to get stouted.
That's great. That's a great term.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him that. If we get him in the podcast, I'm going to say, "Can you stout me? I just want to know what it feels like."
You don't want to be stouted.
I just want to know what it feels like. My brother, I told you, who played college football.
Yes.
His last little thing was, "Let me know if they need a quarterback." And I was like, "Dude, you're 40. The last thing you're going to do is get into an arena football league." What I do like about the speed of the game is that there's forward motion.
Yes.
I mean, as a kid, you always played with. You ran around an end, you're running towards the line as you hike the ball, and you're almost at a sprint when you hit the line of scrimmage. You can go, and so that's a good thing about that.
I was told that today.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I mean, it's a good aspect because it is so much smaller. You have to give some edge to help the player out,
and it opens up a lot of variables too. It opens up a lot of different offenses that you can run. I've seen a lot of trick plays out of that. Where 2 guys will run to the line of scrimmage, one of them will just stop. And the receiver or the quarterback will quickly flip the ball to the guy. I've seen one where 2 guys are running to the line of scrimmage. The quarterback will all of a sudden say hike and just toss it out to one of the guys who's already in full sprint.
Oh,
it's a quick way to get 5 yards. A lot of neat plays you can run out of those.
Kind of to the injury thing, because it is so high so high speed. Not that the NFL players aren't slow, but I mean
But you also don't have a full-grown man at top speed
running
at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it is fast. I mean, so besides the AstroTurf, I mean, concussions are obviously a huge issue.
Yep.
And I'm a walking contradiction because I started playing Pop Warner when I was in California when I was 6 or 7. And I played football all the way through high school.
And clearly you can see the brain damage.
It's bad.
Eric.
And so then my brother did the same thing and then went to junior college and then college and went to the World League.
Yep.
He's concerned about the brain damage that he's acquired because there's always a good story I tell about how he had a high school football game where he broke 2 state records for the amount of yards in the game and the amount of touchdowns in the game.
No kidding.
And he got creamed at the end of the 4th quarter, and to this day has absolutely no recollection of it. And it was one of the greatest things I've ever, one of the greatest football spectacles I've ever heard of. And he doesn't remember any of it.
No kidding.
And so, and that was one of his more significant. What made him a good quarterback? He sat in the pocket and waited for a play to develop, and so he got hit a lot.
Right.
But do you? I mean, and again, the reason why I'm in a contradiction. Let me finish my thought. Was I'm not letting my kids play football. And I mean, I'm such a diehard fan, and I love it. And my kids are always like, "How can we sit here and we watch football with you, but we don't get to play it?" And I was like, "Not that you're not going to be a good athlete, but your chances of playing football and becoming an NFL player, even going to college and playing football, is very minuscule. There's plenty of sports out there to play. You know, if I thought that one of you had like just some kind of inherent
cannon for an arm.
Yeah, or was super fast or had some great, breaking speed. Yeah, something like that. Maybe I would rethink that. But I can just tell they don't
average.
They might be the average football player.
It's okay to be average.
Yeah, it's okay. Right. Yeah. And so I'm not doing it. And my brother is not letting his boys play either, which really shocked me. Really shocked me. Are concussions any more prevalent in the indoor football league than they are anywhere else? Not really.
Not really.
Okay.
Every player, when they come in for the season, of course they have to go through physical, and they do go through an impact test at a local eye doctor here in town. And if during the season or during a game, if we suspect that they did receive a concussion, they will go through an impact test again to make sure.
What's an impact test? What's that consist of? Do you have?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I know that sounds foolish coming from a guy who.
Well, I mean,
works
you said an impact test, and then you said eye doctor. And I was like, oh, wait, how do you
dilation of your eyes or something? Probably, right?
I could speculate. I don't want to say anything. That would
okay.
Be
I'll Google it.
You could Google it. And I mean, people are probably listening to this going, "How does this guy not know what an impact test is?" And he works for.
It's not part of your job. What are you worried about it for?
Yeah, I've never had one done. I probably should have had one done because I got ear-holed one time playing college football. And wow. I got up, and the world was spinning. And
impact test.
Yeah. There you go. Neurocognitive. So yeah, maybe like kind of like the doctor says, follow my finger. And,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was one thing that the one episode of that KISS football show.
Right.
There was a kid who was a quarterback for my University of Hawaii.
Okay.
He was an adoptive kid, was just tearing it up. And I remember reading an ESPN article on him, and then I never heard of him again. And they're talking about he was like one of those All-Americans that you hear coming up going into the draft.
Right.
But that was when he was a junior, so they expected the senior year to be really big, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I never heard another thing about him. And I didn't until I heard them on the show talking about him being at University of Hawaii. And I go, shit, that can't be the same guy.
Right.
And he had gotten a severe car accident, had a severe head injury, and they had to cut him because the doctors did not feel comfortable because of his past head injury that a couple hits to the head would not be it. And he was still athletically incredible shape, still had a great arm. Everything was the same except his head just wasn't where it needed to be, his brain.
There was a guy who played at Cal a few years ago who was a lineman, and he, was pretty much a surefire draft pick. But he had suffered like 8 concussions over his career, and he alone decided, I'm not going to do it. He could have made millions, but he decided that he gave up football forever because he just didn't want to take the risk. And he left millions of dollars on the table. Just didn't want to take the risk. I guess he figured walking was better than sitting.
Yeah, and you hear about people that they say one more time, just not sure. I think Steve Young was like that too. A couple more of these hits, you're not going to be cognitive anymore if you keep doing this over and over and over again. Because he's another one, this quarterback. He got the shit kicked out of him all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you know how Joe Rogan talks about why he'll never box, but he'll do jiu-jitsu. He's like, I'd much rather be choked out than hit in the face.
Yeah.
Well, he had a guest on that deals with anatomy and brain and everything, and she's like, no, being choked out is really terrible too because of all these different things that happen.
When you get your oxygen supply cut off.
Right. What does your body do to react to that? Mm-hmm. Because your body's going to want to survive. And so when you're cutting off the circulation, your body's going to react in a certain way.
Sure.
And these are the hormones and these are the things that it goes through.
Or does it start shutting down things because it's trying to survive too? That could be possible.
Correct.
That makes sense.
And then depending on your diet and what is in your GI tract and how healthy of a GI tract you have, which again, spot for Sweet Your Joy.
I was going to say, so if I have an ambrosia pie, it probably won't be very good.
Your GI tract has a direct correlation to your brain. And when you have a brain injury or a concussion and they're not synced up and they're not working properly, then you have the wrong enzymes or the wrong hormones getting pushed and things aren't getting flushed out and there's plaque and stuff that builds up in your brain.
Shit.
And if you're not getting enough sleep at night, she's like, she goes, I know that I have this hormone because I had my blood tested, whatever. It was it was a fast.
Was this a long time ago?
It was just today. It was not the most recent Joe Rogan podcast.
But it was a female?
Very recent, yeah.
Okay.
One of the most recent ones. And she was just saying, if you don't have adequate sleep, I mean, there's so much that goes into full-blown athletic superiority. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like your diet, how much sleep do you get? Now people go, you need to get X amount of hours. Mm-hmm. But why? And she's like, if you get an impact trauma to your brain, you have to get X amount of hours of sleep, because what happens is your brain actually swells during sleep and your body is flushing all of the toxins and the plaque and the things that you've occurred while you had that injury, and your body is flushing that out of the brain.
People who especially the older generation, when if they suffer a stroke, they say let them sleep, because it's repairing the brain. Mm-hmm. The more they sleep, the better.
Well, and the big thing too, they say amazing? Even it's mind-boggling. And Dr. Rhonda Patrick is her name.
Yeah, that's it.
What they talked about, I mean, because again, was it Real Sports with Brian Gumbel? I think they did 3 different shows over the last probably 10 years on head injuries. Right. With a gentleman, I forget, he went to Harvard Medical, but he's also an NFL player, and he's the one who started harvesting these brains, right, of players who have died to study it.
Yep.
And the most recent one said that as long as if you get a concussion, as long as you allow your brain to heal, just like any other muscle that gets bruised, you're gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. It's the ones who play repetitive games where they don't give their brain a chance to heal. Now, I think they're saying that at this point they're not sure if, even with a good solid concussion and your brain totally heals, that won't necessarily not have detrimental effect later.
Right.
But it won't have quite such long-lasting effects if you let your brain heal. Mm-hmm. And so do you guys have one of those rules, like a week out like the NFL does now? You have to take a full week off when you get a concussion. Are there any rules like that apply?
I don't know of anything that's mandated like that. Now, we kind of leave it up to the best judgment of the trainer. And okay. I mean, he's going to obviously work in the player's best interest. Yeah. He's not going to get him out there just and have him just be a walking slab of meat.
Right. Did you ever see that movie, is it West Dallas 40?
North Dallas 40.
North Dallas 40.
Yes,
Nick
I have
Nolte.
seen it. Yeah, it's a great movie.
God, it's so good, but it shows you what the NFL used to be like.
And it was
rough. Fucking brutal.
It was rough.
I mean, you got hurt and you were expected to be there the next day. It shows Nick Nolte getting out of bed and he's like, stand up, cracking things, and then trying to get ice packs. It showed. I'm sure some of it was glorified and over the top. Because I think when they play on a basketball court one time,
they did.
To their tackle,
and he gets drilled.
Gets tackled on the basketball court. Yeah, and the coach was like, "Go full blast! We're not quitting." But this is like if you imagine like the old '70s movies. Okay. This is kind of like, isn't it? Wasn't it?
It was
late '70s, early '80s.
Yeah.
So they had a face mask, right?
Hey, my dad talks about the year they went from the single bar face mask to a full face mask.
You do know why they went to having face masks, right?
Because they're getting kicked in the face, I assume.
No, because there was a player that was African American who was being brutalized in his face every play. And after that, you can see it at the African American Museum.
Oh, really?
Display of it. And he is the sole reason. I think it was an Iowa State player.
Oh, wow.
The sole reason why we have face masks.
Is that right?
And my dad said he just remembers that was one thing you could do is when somebody came at you in a pile up, you could just shove your face in their face mask.
Your fist.
In their face mask because you could. It was wide open.
Well, and
shove your face in their face mask.
Well, and back in
fucking bite your face off.
Well, and back in the early days of the NFL, the play was not over until the forward progress had stopped, not the whistle blowing. So you could just light guys up left and right,
stand somebody up and just I forgot about
and grabbing the face mask was legal. I mean, I've seen videos of guys literally almost getting their head ripped off.
Right, or somebody running by and all of a sudden, flip back.
Just
man, it wasn't. I don't know if it was Ditka. It was that kind of era that they were face masks.
70s,
no holes barred.
60s, 70s.
It was almost like it was a sport for like the most fucking brutal guys who were out
gladiators.
there. Yeah,
Butkus and Ray Nitschke. Just the badasses.
See, I think Nitschke, Timmy, if I saw him in a dark corner street, I'd be so scared. his face was just fucking mangled. His teeth were all checked up. I mean, he was they show him sitting on the sidelines with a parka on, and he's just bloody knuckles tape. Just, I was like, holy cow.
Well, Jack Lambert was like that with the Steelers. He had no front teeth. He'd show his teeth. He had the fangs. It's like, I'm going that way. just complete utter.
And see, I love that. See, Lynn Swann. I'm only 3 years older than you guys are, but Lynn Swann was my idol before I became an enormous 49ers fan. But I loved Lynn Swann but I also like the Steel Curtain, and Franco Harris was a huge fan of his for a while too. But I mean, some of those the Steel Curtain, yeah. But I mean, those old school kind of football teams. I don't know if do you think they're as tough and brutal as they are now, or is it just a different game?
I think the hits have gotten a lot more violent, but I think just the extracurricular stuff doesn't happen as much as it did back then, or if it does, then they're a lot quicker to penalize. What's the guy, Nadimikam Sue for the Lions, stomping on someone and getting fined all this money. Back then, it'd be like, just shake it off.
Right.
Now, toughen up.
That's a good point.
Now, in the indoor football league, are there fines? How do players get penalized for certain behaviors on the field?
Well, I mean, like anything else, but there are no monetary fines.
No monetary fines.
No, it's not. If you a legal hit on a quarterback and you're fined, X number of dollars for that. No, there's none of that.
Wow.
All right.
I was going to tell you that they're now the Real Sports just did a fourth story on the correlation between concussions and all this domestic violence that's starting. That they're seeing.
There's always been domestic violence,
right? But they're seeing a correlation between head trauma and that, and they must have had 10 to 15 interviews with people of a direct. They slowly over time, this person just slowly changed with all the things that happened. It wasn't like this guy was a bad guy beforehand, or he beat his girlfriends in college, and then all of a sudden now he had a wife and he didn't stop. It was more of like, here's a loving, caring, supporting person who became a different person down the road due to all the head trauma.
It's amazing what these players' body go through. I remember reading an article in SI a few years ago, and like they interviewed Joe Jacoby, who played for the Redskins. The man's literally crippled. He said that this has been a few years ago. He said when he would hold his granddaughter, he had to hold her in a harness because he shook so bad that he could potentially drop her.
Whoa.
Earl Campbell,
only
played a few years in the NFL. He can't walk. He
really?
If you see him,
he's got those canes.
He has the cane or the walker because he is so destroyed from the game.
And if you saw him play, I mean, he went crazy.
Out.
And they remember all those famous movies, clips you can see from the old NFL stuff of his jersey being torn off his body. He just never stopped moving.
He'd run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
Well, look at Bo Jackson. Here's an amazing athlete that did baseball and football. Yep. He gets tackled out of bounds, and I'm totally replaying this from somebody else telling me this.
He wasn't out of bounds.
All right, he gets tackled, but twisted, and he gets all of the muscles torn.
Yep. He basically ran right out of his hip.
Yeah,
because he was that strong. Yeah,
that
amazing?
And
guy.
he came back from it, of course, but he was never the same.
Never the same.
No.
One of my favorite football posters I had on my wall was him with a football pads on, and then he's got a baseball bat over his shoulders. Fuck. And I also had the one that transitioned.
Yeah, all the different sports
that he ran.
Yeah, he was great.
Or his shoes. Another day, another sport.
Now, since I don't follow sports very much, do we have a player today that does that?
He and Dion were the only two that really played two sports.
Dion was the only other one I can think of.
Right.
It's too bad such an asshole.
That hasn't happened. He's found God. Relax.
I just remember him I remember the helicopter coming in and landing on the field when he played for the Braves.
Yeah.
And then taking off. I'm just like, you fucking prima donna. And then he hopped around the league until he got a Super Bowl with the Niners, and he went to the Cowboys. It just, sorry. I'm going to have a little rant. I apologize. Go ahead.
Relax.
You're right. He found God. Good for him.
Yeah, he found God.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
That's right. And he was an incredible cornerback. I mean, come on. Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of God, we brought this up a couple of podcasts ago when it actually happened. The Muslim U.S. football player penalized for prayer gesture.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Now, do you think that we could ever... Do you think it's a good thing that religion is synonymous with sports, like players draw strength from their religion? Or do you think it's one of those things that it would probably be best if we could somehow separate that. If we could ever get religion out of sports.
That's a touchy subject.
I'm not going to expect you to answer it.
Well, no, and I guess as long as it's not hurting anybody, you know.
Well, and I had one of my best friends. I remember when Kurt Warner was playing for the Rams.
Right.
I mean, he's a big born-again Christian guy.
Yeah.
He was trying to get as many born-again Christians around him on that team as he could so they could all be on kind of the same page. And so I remember saying to a buddy going, I hope he's not saying you can't, I don't want you to play, or I'm not going to get the ball to you if you don't follow my religious beliefs. Mm-hmm. That's shitty. And he goes, why shouldn't he? And I said, because you can't discriminate between one person and another. He's like, but don't you want everybody on your team to be following the same kind of mindset you are? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense, but why can't you're on the same team together? Isn't that a unifying thing? Do you have to have whatever God you're thinking of be the one thing that unifies you? It was a huge argument we had. He's like, I wouldn't want somebody on my team who didn't believe in God. You know, I was like, holy cow.
But what if like your star quarterback never washed his jersey? Does that mean that none of the players around the star quarterback can wash their jerseys? Do they have to have the same mindset? How deep
don't you think
it go?
Religion is a little bit more ingrained in people than just in some whatever, you know, shtick you might be into because you're.
Well, I was going to ask. Well, I kind of asked about the penalization, but you know, end zone celebrations and things like you guys don't. Does that ever get out of hand? Do you ever see any conflict with that type of thing?
No, I mean we allow end zone celebrations. We want end zone celebrations because it gets the crowd fired up. You know, players at the ice arena would jump into the stands and high five people. You know, our quarterback, when he would score, he would find a little kid, jump in the stands and pick him up and, like, you know, show him around and stuff. I mean, people they love that stuff. You know, they want to see, you know, these players get excited about it. Now, I mean, of course, there's a limit. I mean, you can't just, you know, rip your clothes off and run naked after a score. But
now you could have sold me.
Right.
No, if the cheerleaders. I wasn't going to say I didn't want to go with players, but the cheerleaders, for sure.
But no, we encourage it though. That, you know, all the celebration, the ball spiking, and all that.
And see, I never minded celebrations at all, but I did appreciate like the Barry Sanders of the world who just walked over, handed the ref the ball, and walked off the field. I thought that was cool.
I respect that. I don't like I don't like the lack thereof in the college game. You know, I saw a game the other day where I can't remember who was playing, but guy intercepted the ball, and he was excited, and all he did was just spin the ball and walked away. And he was flagged 15 yards.
Oh,
and
really?
And even the commentator was like, really? 15 for that? Seriously? And I remember when I saw a Washington Husky game a few years ago. Quarterback scored a late touchdown to take the lead, and he just threw the ball up in the air, and they flagged him. And it ended up actually costing them the game because of the great field position the other team got into after the penalty, just because he threw the ball in the air.
Wow.
So the fans are supposed to go nuts, but the players are just supposed to go, oh, okay, thanks.
Robotic, reserved.
And how can you be reserved? I mean, if anybody's ever been in any sports situation and you're winning or something happens, your adrenaline is pumping through your body.
Well, the reason they did it mainly is because of the University of Miami. You know, if you remember those Miami teams of the late 80s and early 90s, taking the helmets off, you know, doing the dancing and all the...
I don't think I remember that.
Well, you know what started it? The fucking Bears with their Super Bowl shuffle. Now, I can remember that with the fridge and what was the quarterback?
Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon.
He's another guy who's suffering with ALS, right?
Yeah.
Did he just get let go, or did he retire from...
He retired.
Did he retire?
Yeah, he retired. Now, listen, I hate...
But that's what started.
You know what my biggest thing is? I cannot stand first down celebrations. To me, I'm just like, a touchdown, sure. Pick six, great.
Right.
I mean, I think that's all about... You just gained 5 yards and you got a first down for your team. Give me a fucking break about doing all the, you know, dive forwards, and they're so excited. I'm like... You know, I mean,
you're going to wear yourself out, dude.
A celebration of scoring a touchdown makes sense to me.
Right.
I have no problem with that. But every single little thing that they do sometimes, they're celebrating. I'm just like, come on, you guys. At least it's a team sport, too. I mean, I like the quarterbacks, or I like the stars of the show who, after the game, say, you know, I have 8 guys in front of me that are protecting me. That's how I'm able to throw 30 yards on the field. I can't do anything without these guys in front of me.
Well, and look what's happened to 2 guys in the NFL this year. They both celebrated sacks, and they tore their ACL because they were celebrating.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, in fact, I think it happened last weekend. There was a guy who sacked. I think it was the Chicago Bear actually, and he sacked Brady and got up and started celebrating. He jumped in the air and landed, and he just went down in a heap, and he's out for the year because he celebrated a sack.
Oh God!
I saw a kicker. I saw a kicker do that one time, and I was a place kicker. He celebrated a field goal. All he did literally was jump up in the air and do one of those fist pumps. Came down and grabbed his knee, and he was out.
Oh shit!
Isn't that crazy?
Just a freak injury.
I was going to say, just a freak injury. It's not like, I mean,
He was a kicker.
A kicker. Yeah.
Did you have
one of those crazy shoes with the flat?
No, I did not. I had a teammate of mine who did. He had one of the square toes. Yeah, because he was a kickoff specialist, and I mean, guy could just kick the ton out of the ball.
Well, the guy who kicked the longest ever had the square toe. It was 63-yarder.
Dempsey.
Yeah.
I would have to have a show. I used to kick off also. I'd have to have a shoe that was like that long.
Yeah.
You know? That'd be crazy. I always wanted to know, does that shoe make that big of a difference? Because I was not the typical like soccer style kick. I would kick with my toe.
It's not good as for accuracy.
No.
But for distance, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean the guy who was my teammate, I mean, it was guaranteed the ball was going in the end zone every time he kicked off. I mean, this guy was like 6'5", and just looked like he was barely trying. The ball would just take off. Yeah, it was not coming back.
One of my dad's favorite players of all time was the name just flew out of my head. He's a punter for the Raiders. And he would hit Ray Guy.
Yeah.
My dad
first punter in the Hall of Fame.
Loved him.
Yep,
and I was like, well, why? What's the big deal? He's a punter. He's like, watch him hit the top of that stadium. He would kick balls and hit the roof of the stadiums.
Really?
He was that good. And where did he play college football? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
And you call yourself a general manager.
Right.
Ray Guy. Was it Ray Guy?
Yeah. He was elected to the Hall of Fame this year. First punter ever. And I was on the coaching staff at Western Illinois University back in 2000 when I was studying for my master's degree. And we had a punter who he might still be punting for the Chargers, Mike Cyphers. He had like a 5-second hang time, which is just ungodly. He had an 88-yard punt one time in a game. He literally, I'll never forget it to this day, he was standing in the back of his own end zone, punted the ball rolled out the back of the other end zone.
Really?
Yes.
But it was 88 yards in the air?
It was net 88 yards.
Holy cow.
And people were just like, are you kidding me?
And I think people just feel like you just kick the ball, but there's a lot of precision that goes into making sure a punt spirals off your foot like that. Your hips got to be in the right place.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. Holy cow.
Now you have a handful of players that are returning, and you have brothers on the team?
We do. Yeah, we have clever names, Robert Brown and Rob Brown.
Yeah, Robert and Rob.
I guess the mom just liked it so much.
Like that.
Come back for a second.
Sounds.
Yeah. So Robert Brown was with us this past year.
Okay.
And then Rob will be joining us this year. So.
And what position do they play?
D-back. Yeah, they're both
D-backs.
Yes, both.
Oh.
Or I think one might be receiver, but yes, skill positions. We'll just say.
Sure. Holy cow. That's awesome. I like it. Do you feel like the Titans is kind of like one of those family kind of things? You guys are keeping some players, getting new players, and you're kind of keeping some kind of like family kind of feel to what you guys are doing? I mean, it's kind of a unique situation to be in as a player.
Yeah, we definitely try to. Strangely enough, and it's kind of sad, right now we don't have a single player from the state of Iowa.
Oh.
You can
get what you can get. I mean,
yeah, well, I wish we did. It's not that we won't go after them. It's just we haven't found them yet. Either we haven't found them yet, or they're with other teams, or they're not good enough. Whatever the case may be. I think the player that most people identify with around here is one of our defensive linemen, Xavier Jackson. He's been with us since day one. He's multi-time first team All IFL. Led the league in sacks 2 years ago. We'll probably eventually retire his number. when it's all said and done. Yeah, he played at University of Missouri and spent time with the Bengals for a couple years, and then also spent a little bit of time with the Eagles, and then came to play for us later on.
Are you caught off guard by if you see these guys play and you're like, holy cow, they're really incredible athletes, but they can't make it in the NFL? So what does that say about the level of athleticism?
It is. In the NFL,
it is.
Yeah.
There are some guys I'm thinking, why aren't you at the next level? Because you could definitely be there. And I'm just thinking to myself, all right, if you're not good enough to make it, then how good are these other guys?
Right.
I mean, they just must be gods when it comes to playing.
Well, because, if you see the Ray Lewis's plays, you see the Jerry Rice plays. I remember watching Jerry Rice at field level run a route, and I almost felt like I couldn't keep my eyes on him. He was moving so quickly and cutting so quickly.
Guys like that are just those are once in a generation.
And he was in the first-round draft pick. That's the crazy thing too. Is
Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, think about. Him, Joe Montana, or Brady.
Yeah, these
are not elite. College athletes coming to the NFL. They were picked latter part of things. Those are the ones I like learning about and hearing about. There's always going to be the Matthews, the guys who are incredible in college and then were incredible in the NFL.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, for sure. Well, on the Bandwagon podcast that we have here. Peyton was their overrated player of the week for last time because he may have 510 touchdowns, but
does he have a title?
He has only one Super Bowl. Eli has one more than he does.
Yep. Right.
And Eli has more yards, I think, passing in more playoff games. And so they made him the overrated player. I'm like, when you guys get popular, people are going to come after your asses like nobody's business when you start saying things like that. It's going to be so awesome.
I know, Peyton does definitely get criticized, especially what happened in last year's Super Bowl. When, they look like they wouldn't even get off the bus. Especially after that first play, the ball goes over his head and goes out the back. It's like, this is just a circus.
Right.
It turned into, but if you there was an article on him in Sports Illustrated a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I keep referring to SI, okay. But if you read it, the kind of preparation that he goes through is unbelievable.
Right.
His game preparation and how he's calling guys, out of meetings and in their hotel rooms saying, come over here, let's walk through our routes. It's like who would think to do that? And
I remember reading an article in SI when he first came into the league. And he was doing that. He was just studying and so that he was never or tried not to ever be caught off guard by what he was either seeing from a defensive standing point.
Well, and some people were saying, that he was overthinking the game too much. Just let the game come to you. But he was trying to, I guess, absorb every little detail aspect that it was overwhelming him. And yeah, it may have been like that early on, but definitely paid off now.
Well, you talked about the technology that's involved with certain things. If you have seen every defense and read every, backfield, and you have it all down so that when you see something, oh shit, I know what they're doing. Right. You actually probably feel a ton better and a ton more confident knowing, I've seen this before. I'll yell Omaha 5 times and then I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
I heard a great comment the other day. Somebody said they started asking quarterbacks what their favorite call is because his obviously is Omaha, right. And all these quarterbacks are now coming up with their favorite calls because and I don't even know why he uses Omaha. I'm sure it has to do something with what he's reading off the defense, but they're now making fun of him. But I remember watching that play too, watching that ball go over his head, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, and I was pulling for Denver. In that
so was
game.
I. Yeah.
And when I saw that happen, I thought, well, I see how this is going to go, and they weren't kidding. You
would think that would it's like a gut shot. First play of the Super Bowl. Here we are.
Play.
I'm the most prepared quarterback in the entire NFL football league.
And I don't even know when the snap is coming.
Yeah, and it's over my head. Yeah, that would, God, that's got to really be a kick in the nuts. That would be so bad.
Do you guys do drug testing? Do you guys do drug testing and things like that? Do you stay current with that type of stuff?
We do random drug testing, yes.
Random.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not like a union that you have to mess with or anything. It's like, hey, yo, random. Let's go.
Yep. It can be any player, anytime, any day.
How would that work if you had a player, say, Iowa supposedly is going to have medical marijuana here at some point. If you had a player that had issues that used it would, I mean, what we were talking about how businesses would have to change things.
Yeah, how,
you know, if I'm a forklift driver, even if if it's legal for me to smoke marijuana, I can't drive a forklift. Jesus, I mean, that'd be horrible.
Right.
How, legally or business point wise, how would that change things for you guys? Do you, or off the top of your head, I guess it's not really.
Well, I guess to be honest, we, my boss and I haven't talked about, or with the coaches, how that would come down. I mean, if a player does test positive for something, I mean, chances are they'll get suspended.
Okay.
And depend on, I guess, I don't know. I mean, any positive test is severe. I mean, it's not saying, oh, well, it's just a little bit versus he's just completely plastered.
Yeah.
Just baked out of his skull.
Right.
I mean, they would get suspended and not get paid and all. And I guess the same thing also goes, back to what you were talking about. Like if a player gets penalized in a game, if they are ejected from the game, it's an automatic 1-game suspension.
Okay.
So it's not like they can just come back the next game and keep playing. No, it's automatic suspension for 1 game. So
I would have to think that, even though I'm a pretty pro marijuana person, that
here we go into the drug.
I'm saying that I would understand why a sports team or a business would have to say that. Listen, I understand you have a medical issue, but you can't be doing what you're doing and have a trace of that drug in your system.
Well,
I can see the point of view.
It's the same thing as, people don't drink beer when they're at work.
Right.
They don't allow alcohol in the workplace. I mean, I'm sure you could do it if you really
can't come to work
or even
you can't be drunk. You can't be drinking on the job.
Right.
Or even a closer representation to it is if you are taking a medication that makes you drowsy or sleepy. Let's say your job is driving forklift, and you got hurt, or you had your knee was scoped, and you have medication that you had to take. If that medication makes you drowsy, like my previous jobs, I would have to tell my boss, "I'm back to work. I can walk. I can drive, but I'm taking this medication," and it's saying I probably shouldn't operate a motor vehicle or anything heavy machinery.
Yeah,
Sure.
there was a business where I used to work, and one of my coworkers, I mean, I don't want to make light of this, but she was walking down the stairs one day and she lost her balance and she fell. And the HR person had to take her to the doctor to get her tested for drugs, to make sure she wasn't on drugs at the time. I thought, she just lost her balance and fell. And you're going to test her. You're going to make sure that she is not like intoxicated. Or I thought,
right?
Wow, that
absolutely
really. This is what we're getting to now.
See,
just because I tripped and fell.
Yeah, every single injury that happens anymore in the business setting. I worked in a factory setting, and I work in a power plant basically now. Anytime there's an injury or damage to expensive machinery, boom. Instantly, we're doing drug testing and we're taking you to the hospital.
It's CYA. It's cover your ass so you can't have litigation. That's all it is.
I have to tell this one story I heard.
Please.
This kind of sort of on subject, but I heard this story about this woman who was hired by a firm in some big city, and she, on her first day on the job, they're taking through orientation, and she was walking down the hall and she tripped and fell. Just tripped and fell. Her heel caught on something. I think she got hurt herself somehow. He twisted ankle. She sued the business because she claims they did not teach her how to properly walk across a rug, and she won.
See, it's lawsuits like that are actually destroying the fabric of civility.
Needless to say, she was not welcome back. Yep.
The hot coffee.
It all started with the hot coffee.
God
That's exactly
damn.
right. That's where it all
the
started.
hot coffee somehow stemmed from the Super Bowl shuffle with the Bears in '85. I'm going to blame everything on the Bears in '85.
But I mean,
right? '85.
That was a hell of a team, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people are. I mean, it's getting bad enough now. People are like suing McDonald's because they're obese.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like. I mean,
well, we've talked about that.
I'm addicted to sugar myself, but come on. at some point there's got to be some personal responsibility. And again, I say this all the time, as liberal as you can probably get, but some of those things just drive me crazy and give businesses a bad name. I mean, I would want to have some kind of protection as well if I thought some yahoo's going to come along and say, oh shit, you didn't frame this door out right because you did it yourself. So,
dude, the example of tripping on the rug because they didn't swim, because they didn't teach her how to, that's about as ridiculous as it gets.
I don't think I've ever heard anything like that before.
I thought it had to be a joke. Yeah. And I said, no, this is true. This really happened. My jaw was on the floor.
Now, Eric,
as a business owner, Eric, I would be like, Jesus Christ.
If that can happen.
That was what would scare me.
That can happen. Anything can happen.
Right.
Oh, my God. That's scary. Okay, so I got to make sure when the person stands at the door. So, are you a functioning adult? Can you put one foot in front of the other before we walk in this building and I take you on as an employee? I mean, we're getting to the point now where we have to you have been walking since you were 2.5, right? And so, I mean,
it's everything.
At what point do you have? I mean, holy mackerel!
This leads us down the tunnel or the questioning of interns.
Yes,
Mister. Mm-hmm. Do you hire your own interns, or are they assigned to you by somebody?
We hire them. Yeah, we put out ads either in the local colleges, and they'll contact us. That's how our interns have come to us.
We've thought about getting interns.
Okay.
For the show.
Sure.
Like PR intern. You want to learn how to produce a show.
Right,
intern.
Right.
You want to learn how to do audio. Intern. Right. You want to do PR stuff. Intern.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a studio would be better before we get interns.
You think we should get a studio? We have a studio. Now here's the thing.
An actual place.
I know you're married, so I'm gonna give you an out.
All right.
All right.
That's really inappropriate.
Have you ever had an intern? And feel free not to answer. Mm-hmm. I'm not pressuring you unless, of course, you feel the need to answer. Have you ever had an intern and you're like, okay, she's totally qualified, but if I hire her as an intern, it's probably going to be much harder for me not to get sexual harassment. So I'm going to go with her over here.
I have not come across that yet.
No? Because it doesn't matter how hot they are, because you love your lady.
Yeah,
right? It's true.
Now, when I joined the Titans,
yes.
In fact, I'm coming up on my official 3-year anniversary with them on Friday. Thank you.
Wow.
And but when I joined them, there were already 2 young ladies who were interning with us, and needless to say, they were very attractive, very beautiful, but just not much going on upstairs. and I kind of thought, now why are you really here? Just is it for the eye candy?
This is the behind the scenes Titans
tight butts,
right,
and pants.
No.
Oh, just FYI.
All right, so you're saying if we get a hold of some interns, we do need to do our due diligence and make sure we get some quality people. Don't just go for the tight butts.
We need a couple geeks, dude. We need a couple geeky guys.
We need some hardcore geeks, and we need a really great PR chick. I think women really do the PR thing. Well, Eric George does a wonderful thing, too. Not to say that you're not hot. I'm open-minded.
Thank you.
But,
so I appreciate it.
But maybe...
We'll talk later.
And I'm not... This is no spoiler alert, because when people hear this, it'll be 2 weeks past, but it's tied 2-2 in the World Series.
Oh, it is? What inning? What inning?
Bottom of the third.
Okay. Listen, Eric George pays attention to football. World Series can go
I'm going to
assume
that Eric George is a sports fan. Do you watch soccer?
I do like soccer, yes. I played soccer in high school.
Oh, really?
He's a kicker.
Yeah, love it.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Well, but it's 2 different styles of kicking, though. Kicking a soccer ball is different than kicking a football.
So even the long kick?
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Because we had a soccer player in my high school that became a state champion kicker, and the coach recruited him off the soccer team.
Was that because he had just a strong leg, or is it because he understood kicking something, period?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the concept is the same, but there is a difference to it, because in soccer, you want the ball on a low trajectory, so you got to keep your knee over the ball when you kick it. Whereas, kicking a football, it's almost like a golf swing. You want to get under it, so it gets up.
That lever to be hitting.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you're ever out in the yard kicking the soccer ball with your kid, when you go to kick it, keep your knee over the ball, and you'll notice a difference rather than just trying to get it up in the air.
that.
See, there's a little something that I didn't realize I was going to get. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put it in my pocket. I'm going to save it for later.
Right.
That's fantastic. Well, my brother's questions, besides him asking if you guys need quarterbacks,
Right.
I'd be so curious to see if he could even perform still.
Hey, do you know who was thinking about trying out for a football team?
Who's that?
In his early 20s?
Oh, right here?
Was it the Stars? Cedar Rapids Stars?
Who was it? It was the Cedar Rapids something.
Cedar Rapids Stars,
Was it in 2000?
There was a
2001?
There was a semi-pro team called the Tractors.
The Tractors. That's what it was.
In fact,
the Tractors.
If you go down to Jersey's Pub, down right by the Cell Center,
Sure.
they might still have it there. There is a Tractors helmet that is above their bar.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a powder blue helmet, and it's got a tractor emblem. Yeah. I think it's still there.
I walked into the tryouts.
Yep.
And I walked right by it all, and I walked right
back out.
I just was like, nerves were always a bad thing for me when it came to sports. I mean, I remember before every wrestling match, I'd freaking go throw up.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. My brother was always a very calm, cool guy. Mm-hmm. Not to say I wasn't an okay athlete, but it was more of those. I walked in, and I was like, "There's no way I'm running routes in front of these people. There's no way I'm."
But you and I, we trained for a little bit, didn't we? We got ready for it, and then tryouts came, and we're like, I think I'll pass.
And I was, I was like 27, 28, right? We were
you're 4 years older than me.
So I was in my late 20s. You were in your mid.
You were maybe only even 30. I was like 26.
Our very first year when we had open tryouts, we had about 70 guys show up, and I mean, you can just tell right away walking in who may have skill and who doesn't. I mean, there are guys out there, of course, who had no business. We were glad to take their registration money.
Is it like American Idol? Is it kind of like American Idol where you're like, okay, you're serious,
I have a dream,
and I'm going to enjoy watching you fail?
There were some guys like that. I mean, now, of course, we didn't treat them like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we put them through the drills.
Treat everybody the same, but in the back of your mind.
But yeah, out of those 70 guys, I think we brought in 5 to camp, and only 2 actually made the team.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah.
It's no joke.
Well, I mean, that just goes back to the conversation we had earlier about the talent level. I mean, if you want people to play at an elite level, even if it's in the indoor football league, you have to be able to have the skills to be able to pull it off.
These are not 35 and 40-year-olds trying to relive their glory days. I mean, I was out there one day with them back when I used to actually help coach practice a little bit. I was out there at the end of practice doing their conditioning with them because I hadn't worked out all day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to run with you guys. And I was going as fast as I possibly could. And they're just jogging along, oh, yeah. Weren't even trying to run. And here I am just pumping my arms and breathing. And of course, I'm just at the end, they're just like, oh, I don't want anything. And of course, but when they turn on the jets, though, they're gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I had the same thing happen with my brother one time. He came back home for something. I was getting ready to watch him. He was going to play in the Superdome down in New Orleans, and I was going to go down and see him. And so he came back home. And we were playing catch, and we grew up doing that. And so we were just playing catches 10, 15 yards apart.
Right.
And I was like, "Are you trying to throw hard now, or are you not really?" It's like, "No, we're just playing catch." And I was like, "So if you threw really hard, would it be hard for me to catch?" He goes, "Oh, you could probably catch it." And I was like, "Well, why don't you rifle one at me from 15 yards away?"
Really unload.
It went through my hands and hit me in the chest so hard it knocked me off my feet. I just was so caught up because I think what it was is I hadn't played catch with him for years. Obviously,
right.
He was playing college football, so it was a whole nother level past even high school. And I had stopped in high school and had been a couple years past that, or even 4 years past that. And so here I was just playing catch with my brother, and I was like, "Oh, if he rifles him at me, it'll be okay." It fucking hurt, and it knocked the air out of me.
They said, John Elway, back when he was in his prime, he would literally throw the ball so hard that it would leave like a cross print, the seams of the football on a guy's chest because it would hit him that hard.
Really? And Brett Favre broke fingers and stuff like that.
Terry Bradshaw, he could throw the ball 100 yards. Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Yeah.
They have like pictures. You can watch YouTube videos of Brett Favre taking a football and throwing it up into the upper deck of Lambeau Field. Mm-hmm. Just rifling way, way up there.
Yeah.
They just have it. They have it down so well. They know how trajectory works, the velocity of something. Like my brother hit me with that pass and it hurt really bad. Once I recovered, we started playing again. We were just running little routes. He could throw like 5 different passes to me and one would be right to me. He would throw it and it would go and meet me right there. He had all these different ways of throwing to the same spot depending on what coverage was going on. And it just kind of caught me off guard about the level of
phenomenal.
what that was. It was really neat.
I don't think people understand that. I don't think if anybody's watching football, do you think anybody really gets that? Or
I'm going to go with no.
Or do you just think, they caught it. He threw it and he caught it.
Yeah, that's a great
catch.
Great throw, great catch.
Yeah, because I would say if you were in college, if you played college football, or you had good friends that you played football with, that you probably might have a better understanding. But if your glory days were high school,
how much would that just blow your fucking mind if you were in high school and somebody's like, okay, now watch this. If I had the skills, I was like, okay, now watch this. You can throw it like this. Or you can throw it like this.
Right.
Or you can throw it like this. And it's all going to the same place, but this is what I'm doing for the different coverages.
Well, and
holy shit. It would just blow my mind. Like being if you were a place kicker.
Yeah.
Somebody that really, truly knew, okay, this is what you have to think of. This is how you have to approach the ball. This is how we're kicking it. This is the mindset that you have to have. This is the loft. You have to get under it. Soccer, this is how you need to lead with the knee. I mean,
well, it's like, a lot of people refer to David Beckham, how he could make the ball curve and bend. I mean, there's an art to that. It's not just, I'm just going to kick the ball. I mean, you have to hit it a certain way to make it. I mean, it's like throwing a curveball in baseball. How you get it
pool,
to break.
Right?
What's that?
Or like pool.
Yeah, exactly. Putting English on it or anything like that. Yeah, it's an art.
Well, I like fuck, it went right out of my head.
You're dumb.
Never mind.
You're dumb.
See what happens when you get concussions? God. Damn it.
Do we need to let Eric George go? Yeah. How are you doing on time? Are you okay?
I got a couple more minutes.
Okay.
He likes it. I think he likes it.
He likes it.
That's one of my favorite things when people come in and go, yeah, I got about an hour. Sweet.
And then 2.5 hours later, he's like, "Oh, way."
Well, I mean, that's part of what we try to do is we just enjoy ourselves and not be too worried
just
about it.
Right.
It's just a hang.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a good friend of mine who was a kicker, a punter, and had just that natural ability, but for all positions. He could be quarterback, and he was he played for Anamosa High School here in Eastern Iowa.
Right.
He was in the same class as we were, which was Kurt Warner's class. I had left the state and moved somewhere else by the time we were all seniors.
Sure.
And he remembers watching film when they were going to play Regis High School when he still played for Regis in high school.
Right.
And this guy, my friend of mine, is a phenomenal athlete, considered one of the best football and baseball players and basketball players to ever come through Anamosa. Went to Luther and was a running back up there for all 4 years that he played. Right. He was the starting running back. He said, just watching film of Kurt Warner before their game that they played him, he's just like, oh shit, are we going to have a hard time? This guy is phenomenal. Right. So I think if you play at a high level and you're really going out there to do your best and you are the best at your position, you understand what it takes to be at that level, and then you can recognize it in somebody else, I think you probably have more people than the average person who can see a football game and go, oh, I can make that pass like Peyton Manning did. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people like that. I think you might have some glory day people who wish they were good high school football players and want to go back and do it over again because they could do it so much better. But I think if you were really a true elite athlete at the high school level, you might be able to still recognize the ability that goes into some of those plays that happen.
It almost be like us, the weekend golfers who have that one good shot out of 10 shots, and they're like, oh hell, I can drill the PGA right now. you hit the ball and it's 2 feet from the cup. You're like, I got this. Yeah, this game is easy.
Right.
And then the next golf shot goes in the creek, and then the next one you're taking a divot the size of a football field.
Right.
So.
Well, and I remember my brother. Again, I'll get off my brother eventually. I'm sorry.
Wow, you really idolize
Pee-wee
him.
football. Pee-wee football. They were already talking about him playing high school football.
Really?
Because of the way he could throw the ball. Yeah. And so we recognize now in our, like I said, in our own kids, okay, yeah, we'd like to probably be an average football player, but they're not. I mean, again, my brother, I wasn't recognized like that when I was in Pee-wee, but to be a Pee-wee football player playing at that, all of a sudden people are going, wow, that kid's got a really incredible arm.
There are some of those kids you can tell it's like, all right, keep an eye on this kid.
Right.
In fact, I remember when Tim Dwight was a freshman in high school, and I was on when I went to Linmar, our team that year won the state championship, and they elevated him to varsity for the playoffs. First time he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. And I still remember it, watching the news that night, and
Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Highlights or something.
Right, and it was John Baer, who was at Channel 2, who's no longer there.
Right.
And he said, folks, remember this name, Tim Dwight, because you're going to want to remember it. And he was right.
Yeah.
And we played him the next year when he was a sophomore. I mean, he was just a wrecking crew. And I remember finally, because he was a year behind me in school, and when I went to Wartburg, I came back to Linmar to watch the Linmar City High game. He single-handedly 50-pointed us in the third quarter. I mean, people were just like, all right, this is just a joke.
Yeah.
He's a man among boys.
Well, and the crazy thing, I think the scary part about having him across him across the line, though, that would be scarier from my point of view, is not the points he could score. He hit like a fucking truck. He had no qualms with throwing his entire body at full speed into you and just knocking you out. He
had no regard.
Yeah.
Just, if I had to run through you, I will. If I had to run through a brick wall, I will.
He's fast. He's freaking fast as hell. And then to have somebody be that fast and just put their head down and lay into you, that just gives me goosebumps. I was like, that would hurt so fucking bad. I could not imagine how hard that would be.
Arguably one of the best high school games there ever was when City High played Bettendorf and when Tavian Banks was on that team. And there's a famous play where Banks gets the ball in a sweep and he's going around the outside for a touchdown, and Dwight gets there to try to meet him, and Banks just goes right by him. But you can tell Dwight, though, he was like just an inch away. There would have been a major collision. But he just missed him, but Banks was gone.
So, and where'd he go to play?
Banks?
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah,
same as Dwight. And then he played it for the Redskins for a short time.
Okay.
But yeah, Dwight was a journeyman. We brought him in for our very first game, our very first season. Dwight, I'm talking about, to do the coin toss. And it's funny because back in his prime, I mean, he was just a solid block. He was a fire plug.
Yeah.
And if you see him now, he's just kind of a shadow of his former self.
He's pretty mellow.
I wouldn't say that to his. I wouldn't say that to his face, but yeah. You could,
well, he was a brute. I mean, he was built for football back then. He probably wouldn't be that. I mean, he surfs now. I mean, he's like a laid back kind of person. So.
But one of the toughest guys of his size I've ever seen.
Because he's legitimately. My wife ran a 5K through Kinnick a month or so ago,
right?
And he was at the finish line high-fiving people and stuff like that,
right?
And she goes, honey, did you know he was that tiny? I'm like, yeah, but
your wife is a Viking. Your wife has some type of heritage.
No, but she has the idea in her head of what a football player looks like.
Yeah,
and it's these big brutes. And she goes, did you know he was that small? I'm like, yeah, but it never mattered. Yeah, I don't care what he looks like. He was phenomenal. I mean, there's still, you can still find posters of him hitting. Was it an Arizona State player on a kickoff return or something?
There were this. I don't know if this was that exact one, but the story is that when Dwight was I think a freshman or something like that, and Hayden Fry on a punt coverage said, "I don't care what happens, you go down and hit the return man. I don't care if you get flagged, just go knock the living shit out of him."
Right.
And I guess he just lit the guy up.
He knocked him out cold.
Right. And got flagged for it.
Yeah.
But Hayden said he did that on purpose because he knew the guy would do it, and he wanted that guy to know, if I'm going to field the ball, this is what I got to deal with.
Right. Yeah, and there's a picture of this guy crumpled and Tim Dwight like an arrow stuck into him. I mean, it's a brutal looking picture. I've been wanting to have him on here because he does a lot of renewable resource kind of stuff now, a lot of like geothermal solar kind of stuff he's investing in. We've been wanting to have him on because we're very into that as well.
That's him right there.
Yep. Yeah. And you hear, I mean, I guess I have never really heard too many bad stories, but in college I always heard good things about him as a player and as a person on campus and stuff like that. So
I didn't go to Iowa, so hard for me to say, but of course only thing I remember is just what I saw on the field.
Right. Yeah. So phenomenal player.
Which was just brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, in Iowa especially, you just don't have. And then who was the kid from Anamosa who plays for the Baltimore Ravens? Yanda?
Marshall Yonda.
Marshall Yonda? Yeah, he played for the Raiders. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, I mean, there's 2 NFL from Iowa in particular. I guess we have Tim Dwight, Galloway. He's from Iowa, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Played for the Raiders for a little while.
Yeah, Robert Gallery, as I think he's retired now.
Yeah.
And then the defensive lineman for Tampa, who was with it. It's going to drive me crazy now. Great defensive lineman that we had here a couple years ago. So
yeah, I just I'm like you. I mean, I know you guys want to have Iowa people on your team, but I like finding Iowa. Whenever I hear something like, they do the Monday Night Football and it says so and so from wherever they're at,
right?
And I'm like, oh shit, who was that? And I rewind it and see who it was. I think it's awesome to see people from Iowa. You know what I don't hear as much as often as I used to is UNI people. I used to hear UNI players in there all the time. I don't know if they lost kind of what they were. The recruiting kind of stuff. I mean, because for a while there, UNI was, even though they weren't ever held up to the Iowa State, Iowa kind of level, they had great players that went to the NFL for a while.
Bryce Popp and Dedrick Ward.
Right.
Kenny Shedd, who was a return man for the Raiders.
So, and Dedrick went to Wash.
That's right. I played against him, too.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. Another
fast guy.
Very fast. And one hell of a basketball player.
We had a really, we had a really tough 4-year. I think we just went through a really tough, badass section of athleticism. There's like tons of amazing athletes in our age range.
Yeah, kind of in that early 90s.
That's why I didn't peak. I was shut down by all these amazing athletes.
Whatever you gotta tell yourself, buddy. I don't even go that far. So it's still 2-2. So they're hanging up. Oh, I'm sorry, 3-2 Giants.
Oh boy,
top of the fourth. Yeah. So I mean, do you just get more excited every year as you guys keep progressing forward? Because you're building a great foundation for Cedar Rapids and for the sport here. I mean, so you still feel that momentum going forward every year? You're more excited? Do you have people coming in looking forward to playing for you?
Yeah,
things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, the talent level has definitely gotten better. And in fact, I keep posters in my office from every year, every team poster, and it's funny to see the progression from the first year to the second year to the third year, and then I'm excited to see what the crop is going to look like for the fourth year. And
it's only this is your 4th year, so it hasn't been that long of a time, but obviously you can see a big change.
Big change. I think most of it had to do with the coaching. We suffered through a 4-10 season our first year, a lot of internal issues we were dealing with. And I mean, I guess I chalk some of that up to just being a first year program and not quite sure what we're doing and, kind of feeling things out. But then the next season, we ended up going 10-4, made the playoffs. We got killed in the playoffs, but at least we made it. Our coach was named the coach of the year. And then this past season, we go 11-3. So, I mean, it's been a gradual progression, been getting better and better.
And so what are the playoffs? I mean, are they done at different people's stadiums like they do for the NFL?
Yeah, it's basically seeding. The top, the league is split into 2 conferences. And so the United Conference and the Intense Conference, and the top 2 teams make it. And, those 2 teams played each other at the higher seed. And then the championship game is held at wherever the highest seed is remaining.
And so there could be a chance you guys would have some playoff games and stuff here.
That is true.
Oh, that'd be neat.
But first things first.
That's right. Don't let me get too far ahead of myself.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we've been getting closer and closer each year.
That's awesome. That's got to be exciting.
It is.
And then I just love the fact that my brother brought up the dolls because I didn't realize that they were Titan dolls.
You're really hung up on these,
but I didn't.
Ladies.
I stopped talking about my brother. He'd be happy about that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard of the Titans, and so when my brother was like going, "Hey, check out and see if so and so is going to be on my birthday month," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, we have cheerleaders," and so they probably pay you guys to be part of the team. I mean, how's that work?
No, they are unpaid, and it's unfortunate. I mean, these girls do so much for us. I mean, it's not they're not just cheering at the games and then that's it. I mean, these girls are out in the community quite a bit. I mean, it's mandated by the coach that they make X number of appearances, at different events. If it's a charity event or a fundraiser of some sort, that they must make X number of appearances per year. They do a heck of a lot for. I mean, they deserve more than we're able to give them.
Well, I mean, but NFL cheerleaders are the same thing. Then a lot of them are not paid, or if not pay most of their own money to make sure they have their own outfits.
Really?
Oh, it's real prevalent. Yeah.
Which I don't agree with. I mean, because these girls, they are ambassadors of the team, and a lot of and just most people, a lot of people, they're the face of the team, because the players are only here for a few months out of the year. These girls are here year round.
Oh, really?
A lot of them are students down in Iowa, or they live here in town locally. So they're here all the time. Now, we don't make them do things a lot during the off season. We don't in September call them and say, hey, you and you and you need to be here at this time. Right. We'll if somebody asks us, we'll kindly ask them, but we just tell them, look, if they could be there, great, but we can't force them to.
Yeah, you need to get them into the St. Patty's Day parade.
They've been in it before.
Have they?
Yes.
A Titans float with the dolls would be.
Or we could have them into the podcast.
Well, I was going to say, do they have a captain?
They do have a captain. Yeah, there's two captains.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, we should totally see if we can get the captains on here.
How can you have two captains?
Well, co-captains.
Co-captains?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't do sports. I figured. I figured there's like a captain. Hey.
Yeah.
Like, is there a Captain Steubing and then there's another captain?
Yeah.
No, there's only one. There's Captain Steubing.
In fact, there might be three. That's an old picture right there.
By the way, if you know who Captain Steubing is, you're old.
Yeah, Love Boat.
Love Boat. Thank you, Eric.
Yes.
He's right on it.
Exciting and new. Right.
Well, hey, that's a good idea to see if we can get a couple of if we can get two captains in here from the dolls. That'd be kind of cool. I actually, this is horrible. I'd love to have the coach in here too, because I don't know the nuts and bolts of football like I'm sure my brother does, or that the level of knowledge that somebody has to have to have, like you said, that binder. That just fascinates me, the intricacies of what has to go on every play. That's amazing, because I thought about being a coach for a while, but I don't have the time and the energy. It's
a whole different language that these guys speak, to each other. I hear them talk about this formation and what this word means. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
3-fire 96932.
Right.
The lingo is crazy.
It is. Yeah, and every team's different. They each have their own, system and way of doing things, but it is a whole separate language that they speak.
And that's cool. It seems foreign to us. They give us a couple months listening to them and trying to understand what it is, and we start grasping it probably.
Right.
But it's to throw off the other team. It's to make sure you can communicate without them knowing about it. So
one real nice feather in the cap of the dolls is two girls that were on the team 2 years ago now cheer for the Chiefs. One girl you have right there, the brunette on the right.
On the far right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the Murphy twins. And so Claire and Caroline Murphy now cheer for the Chiefs.
Both of them do.
Yeah. I guess the story was they originally tried out for
any story with twins. I'm up for it. Go for it.
No, they tried out for the Cowboys, and they made the first cut, but couldn't get any further. They tried out for the Chiefs. Got through. Apparently, it was real close if they were going to make it or not. But apparently, I guess the coach later on said they wanted twins. They wanted a pair of twins, and they saw these two girls dance. They're very good dancers, very good. And they said, "You got it." And it's funny.
Nice.
They both had the same hair color now. You put them side by side, you can't tell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you pull up the Chiefs cheerleading,
that's freaky.
If you pull up the Chiefs cheerleading page,
look at some more girls.
you cannot tell the difference. And just very, very nice girls. Very down to earth.
Well, hey, maybe you wouldn't mind. I'll keep an email correspondence with you, and maybe I can contact via you and you saying we're not a bunch of scumbags in the basement. Maybe we can get a couple of the captains in here. That'd be kind of a different perspective. I've never met a cheerleader before.
I typed in Chiefs cheerleaders 2014, and I just got.
If you go to their, I think if you go to the headshot, the pages with the headshots.
Okay.
Then you can kind of get a better sense.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then go to.
Oh,
yep, there you go.
Here we go.
So, yep, right there, Caroline and Claire, right in the middle of the page. See them right there? Yep. You can't tell them apart.
Holy cow!
These two?
No.
Right there, dummy.
Right there. Those.
Right. Claire and
these two.
Claire.
These two. These two.
Those two right there. Yep.
Well, I looked at the brunette picture when they had both when one of them had brown hair. Okay. Yeah, I'm I'm down with twins.
Yeah.
That's wow. I bet they're great.
They are very, very
That's
nice
kind
girls.
that is a good feather in the cap of that. That's neat.
Yeah, they
Well, good for them.
They cheered for us for 1 year. They were also rider girls with the Rough Riders for a short time.
Are they from here?
They are. Yes, they went. I think they both went to Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, but just phenomenal dancers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are all of these ladies from the dolls, are they all dancers as well? I mean, they have to.
Oh yeah, I've only been to one tryout before, where I've actually seen the girls perform. I mean, I don't know the first damn thing about dance, but you, I mean, it's one of those things you can tell who who's a good dancer and who is. I mean,
Who knows what the hell they're doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, some girls get out there and they're just like, no. But you can.
That would have been Todd at the tryouts.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I would have been the old guy you made fun of.
Yeah, you would have been like,
Exactly.
I thought you meant me dancing. I'm actually a really good dancer.
Hey, either way, people probably would have been giving you a queer look, like, "Oh,
Yep.
this is a good train wreck." Keep your eye on that guy because
Haven't had any guys try out yet. So, I mean,
something-
I was
the political correctness.
I was a male
but-
cheerleader in high school
Were you really?
because they grabbed high school football players. So when they got done with the season,
Yeah.
they say we need those guys that'll toss the girls a story in the sky and catch them. And so they hired me and a couple of people who played football, a couple of the guys, and we went to the state of Virginia national champions.
Yeah, we had a couple guys like that too that would help out like during basketball halftime. Get some of the bigger brutes and
Right.
they throw them up and catch them. It's like, jeez.
We had a 50-foot basket toss. We could toss this girl way, and I remember
if I was her father, if that was my daughter being tossed 50 foot in the air, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing to my daughter?
No kidding.
You
was
better
scary.
catch her."
Yeah.
Or
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you had to be somewhat athletic because you had to be able to. You couldn't just stand there with your back straight up and down and catch her. You had to be in almost like a squatting stance, so that when she came down, you absorbed all her, momentum.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we had a trophy in one of our hallways that was almost as tall as I was. One of those crazy big things. But I was excited because I got to go to
hang out with a bunch of chicks.
It was a weekend in a hotel with nothing but cheerleaders, and so
Right.
I was really upset.
Yeah.
It was a bad weekend
most
for
people would be.
Todd.
Right.
I'm just saying, if you can't be a football player or a place kicker, be a cheerleader. If you're a dude, you got to place yourself in the right atmosphere.
Right.
You got to be strategic.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's real quick. You can follow the CR Titans on Facebook. And
Was that our page?
that's your page. No, that can't.
No, that's
be
not
your
our page.
Listen.
Type in Cedar Rapids Titans.
Now listen here, Mister.
There you go.
I don't want to get mouthy with you, but look at this. Watch. I'm going to go to.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to go to your website.
Okay, I'm on the Facebook page and it looks great. I'll just throw that out there.
I clicked on the link.
Cedar Rapids Titans. Is that what you typed in? Facebook? You are not technically savvy with the whole social media, so
All
I'm
right,
not
hold on a
surprised you're
second,
off.
hold on a second.
Because I see all kinds of stuff.
That's too many W's.
Oh, there's the cheerleaders dressed like Santa's helpers. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Last year's Christmas party. Yeah. Wonder what gave that away.
That's awesome.
Okay, here's your
Nice.
website. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to click on the Facebook link.
All right.
Okay, completely different.
There it
Okay.
is.
Now, you said something about a Christmas party?
If you scroll down on the left-hand side, you can see like some kids dancing and the little gal.
Yep, right there.
Yeah, there you go.
We brought in a live reindeer to the hotel where we were having this thing. Don't ever mess with a reindeer. I learned that the hard way.
They're big animals.
They'll kick your ass.
I bet they will.
Yeah, they're mean.
Eric George doesn't like reindeers.
Not the real ones.
No.
Not in a hotel. That's for sure.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Giants are still up 3-2. FYI.
Why do you keep giving us these
Because
stats?
I'm watching it. I'm from San Francisco. I've got to keep track of these things, or my brother's gonna give me
They're going to lose. San
rash.
Francisco, whatever. They're going to lose. Well, I don't know. Maybe you have to listen to the bandwagon, find out what's going on.
Right.
Oh, that's why.
Because
that's
whoever wins,
Rock
that's
is,
your team.
Rock is very excited. He's like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm like, why? He's like, we're gonna have a new champion tomorrow. I'm like, oh god.
Because that's what the bandwagon's all about.
Right.
They're all about who's in
Yeah,
first.
can't wait to buy that T-shirt, that championship T-shirt.
That's right. Yeah, last year he like cut out Seahawks things and printed them off on his printer and
stuck them all over.
Shirt.
Right? Yeah, I've always been a Seahawks fan. Yeah, they're.
Oh no, he doesn't say shit like that. He says like, "Oh, I'm a fan now."
Now
I'm a bandwagon fan.
Right.
He loves the San Antonio Spurs. Loves the San Antonio Spurs.
Every game is a celebration. Every game is a celebration.
What's funny though, the best part about it is that because he's been doing this spoof for so long, he's found that doing the podcast, he actually has to really start going in and investigating all different sports and all the best people. And so now he's got all this knowledge that I look at him like, dude, you're crazy. Do you realize what you just said to me?
Right.
Nobody knows stats like that.
Right.
It's like, I have to know what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome.
I know. Right after the Spurs won the championship, I was walking, I think in some store, and I saw a woman wearing a Spurs shirt, and I thought, are you really a Spurs fan? I mean, how many Spurs fans are there in Cedar Rapids?
Right.
I thought, really and truly, or are you just wanting to go on this guy's show? Right. So it just kind of stuck me as
San Antonio, nice town though.
It is.
Thanksgiving of this year, I was down there for my son's boot camp graduation
of 2014.
Yeah, it was juniors. He's been in he's
2013.
2013. Yeah, so he'll have been in a year.
God damn.
Nice.
Junior.
Time flies by.
God bless you, boy.
Yep,
absolutely.
He's a good fella.
Hey, so listen, let's wrap this up. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Great,
yeah, this is great.
Was it all right?
I enjoyed it.
I could tell you were a little nervous.
Oh, well, he was maybe a little bit first.
Oh, shit. He was
I'm
nervous.
just kidding.
Yeah.
You don't come in here and you're nervous.
Right.
We're very relaxed people.
We put away all the torture devices.
I tell you what, when you break out the Sweet Raw Joy and the...
I'm going to have to invest in Cards Against Humanity now.
You will be the life of the party, dude.
I'm gonna have to.
It's absolutely. That might be part of your internship.
Rule number 1, even for
interviews.
Our guests.
Good prerequisite.
Yeah, that's rule number 1.
Yes.
Don't never make somebody laugh while they're drinking. Right. But yeah, Cards Against Humanity. How well can you play in your internship?
Exactly.
Interview.
And how bad can you be? Because the worst one we heard, which was from Rob Merritt, was toot toot, here comes the train. That was the black card. And so he got Auschwitz as one of the answers. I had the same reaction. I was like, oh my God.
Auschwitz.
I said, that's the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life.
But it gives you a way to laugh at it.
Yeah. Now. It's like, too soon?
Yeah, exactly. There's still people alive.
Yeah.
Hey, so check out the Titans on Facebook at facebook.com/Cedar Rapids Titans, or you can go to Twitter, and the Titans are twitter.com/CR Titans. And then you just got to overdo everything, don't you, Eric? You got Pinterest. You got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Pinterest.
Why don't you throw out their website while you're at it, since you haven't said that yet?
Or I could just do their website, which I had their website up earlier, which is...
Got too many tabs open.
Yeah. It's driving me crazy.
Let's go to their home. I don't want to just focus on the cheerleaders, which is cedarrapidstitans.com. You can check that out. And they're going to have a refurbished website come this winter.
Yeah, we're adding to it, but yeah, it needs a little work, as you can tell.
It's all right, though. It's not bad.
Yeah. Social media is not all it's cracked up to be.
Hey, you know what's a really awesome website? TPSP Productions.
Nice.
You can check out TPSP Productions at tpspproductions.com. You want to have your own website? You want to have your own podcast?
Let us know.
Check it out.
Please check it out. So right now you can hop on there and you can see The Bandwagon with Rock and Rob. They do a wonderful job. Very, very funny. I have a lot of friends in California who really enjoy the snarkiness of their podcast.
Snarky.
Oh, they love it. They just think
very nice word, snarky.
They think it's very funny. You can check out the Count to 10 podcast with Simon Sanborn. He is a behavior specialist who's trying to help out kids and families deal with behaviors. Also coming up was Coffee Clatch.
Coffee Clatch.
They got back to me today and are in the middle of rehearsals for a new play, and so they hope to do their 4th and final trial run with down during one of the rehearsals. They'd like to see if we would mind coming in, just doing some audio of one
going
of their,
down there,
recording rehearsal, maybe doing some interviews with the guests. Or what's it? Actors of the play.
I suppose. Yeah.
Participants of the play. Also follow us on Twitter at Matt and Todd. You can also get us on Facebook, TPSP Productions, and you can go to the Primal Scream Facebook page as well. So I'm not as active on there. I'm not.
You know what? You do a really good
Sorry.
job. You do a really good job on some things, and you really suck on other things. And that's why we need interns. Because you know what? You just can't
wear
do
lots
it
of
all.
hats. We wear lots of hats.
Lots of hats. Yes.
We wear lots of
I
hats.
might have to just have it like you and I can have a meeting because I'm having to go out and get sponsors. It's a tough gig, man.
It is. It's not. It's not easy.
You have to learn. You have to learn the dance, right? You can't just walk in and you're like, "Can you give me money?"
Right.
No, you need to have specifics. You need to have a way in which to deliver the message.
Well, and more importantly, you need to find out what their needs are. It's not just, hey, I got this great thing you ought to be checking out. Well, maybe they don't need that.
Right.
Tell me what you're doing right now. What's working? What isn't working? Where's your pain? And then see what you can do to fix that.
And that's why Eric George is an amazing assistant general manager of the Titans, because he knows his shit. So you can check him out.
We'll just let that phrase just hang out there.
Just hang.
Just let it hang.
Hey, what else did we want? Oh, I want to thank our sponsors. It Works, independent distributor, Kathy Sculla. Thank you for sponsoring this show and believing in us. kathysculla.myitworks.com. You want to try any of their products, their wraps, their protein mixes. Have you tried any of their protein mix? You have tried it. I don't like the chocolate. I'll be honest. I like the vanilla. But I haven't tried any of their skincare line. And you like their what is it? Their
Greens?
No, not the greens. What is that shit you put on your feet?
The defining gel.
The defining gel.
Well, I'm a flip flop guy, so I all summer long wear flip flops and your feet get dry and cracked.
You might want to try this exfoliating
This stuff
peel.
is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
You might want to try some of that. Anyway, that's It Works, independent distributor Kathy Sculla. And now my Ecolips, ecolips.com. I love it. Check out all the different flavors and the styles and the availability. You can go to myecolips.com and check that out. Really great. Entrepreneur of the Year, Steve Shriver. Great business model.
Yep.
You want to be a success, follow what Steve's doing and his relationships he has with people. It's really, really awesome. And our
Sweet Raw Joy,
Sweet
which
Raw
we
Joy.
all got to enjoy a part of.
Yeah.
And Lori,
Holy
she's
cow.
going to be on the podcast pretty soon.
Next Wednesday.
Now,
Give her my regards because that was
I'll let her know.
really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it is, isn't it?
That's right. Holy smokes, it was good.
I want to say it in like a whispery, sexy voice,
It's
but there's
horrible.
nothing but dudes
Yeah,
here.
don't do that anymore.
But it's
please.
really, really, really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And she's a local businesswoman. Her and her husband run Sweet Raw Joy.
Mm-hmm. Lastly,
And,
you want to make sure you talk about the greatest card game ever.
Okay, well, go to Sweet Raw Joy first and order your stuff. Now, the greatest game ever, Cards Against Humanity. Go to cardsagainsthumanity.com. Order your own set for $25 or download it for free, but don't be a douche. Order it, buy it for $25, and then get
the bigger, blacker box.
Get the bigger, blacker box.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is... Look at all the expansion packs. They got 5 expansion packs, and then they got that is daunting. The bigger, blacker box. I mean, when you pull out the bigger, blacker box, your guest or whoever's going to play the game with you goes, "Oh my god, what kind of depravity are we getting into now?" And it's amazing. And you can also get the Cards Against Humanity holiday packs, which are amazing.
I cannot wait to find out what happens with Santa.
Which, by the way, starting next podcast, we're breaking into the holiday edition because by the time they air, it will be the holidays.
It'll be the holidays. That's crazy.
Yes, cardsagainsthumanity.com.
Hey, Eric. We
Yes,
really
sir.
appreciate your time, buddy.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for
Yeah,
coming in.
thank
It
you.
was
I really
great.
appreciate it.
And we will definitely, you'll definitely see us at a game. I'm absolutely going to go.
Good. We'll have to have you over sometime.
We would love it.
The last time I was at a game was at the Ice Arena, and I really want to see the difference in the
Quite a difference. You'll notice.
U.S. Cellular Center.
Yeah. You'll love it.
Sweet.
Yes.
All right.
All right, we'll
Appreciate the time. This was fun.
It was good.
Anytime you want to come back, or if there's something special that's coming up and you want to promote it, let us know.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
totally hang out with
You
us.
can come back
again.
and hang
good.
on. You can just email me. We'll talk the shit out of it
Right.
on the air, too.
Yeah, you don't even have to wear like an IFL shirt. You can just come in with like a regular T-shirt and drink some beers with
Nice.
us and play some games.
I'll remember for next time. Yeah.
All right, all right.
Bring a co-leader with you from the cheerleading squad. It'd be perfect. What?
That's all I'm good for.
You were thinking that, too.
I've been thinking it since he showed me the pictures. Anyway, have a great night. Thank you for listening to us and following us. And
Yeah, Yeah, thanks for all your support, guys. We really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. And soon we will have our link set up for donations so we can help with the show and sponsors and whatnot. But that's it. I'm Matt.
I'm Todd.
I'm Eric.
And we'll see you later.
Adios.
Night.